Hi, I am Adam Fikri and this is my little brother.
Khalif Nu'man.
And we are from JQ Racing Malaysia. You are listening to the No Name RC podcast.
Nitro is the glory. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast with your host tonight, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great, and if you are unlucky, the Finnish village idiot, JQ. This is the RC podcast with no name but plenty of content. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious bench racing.
Yes, indeed, Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. What's up, everybody? It's your main man, Lefty, and this is episode 21 of the No Name RC podcast. Joining me today for the intro is the co-host, the Finnish village idiot himself, Joseph Quagrain. What's up, Joseph? How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Getting ready for RCGP.
Oh, yeah? It's not far away, dude. Like a month. Exactly, or just under a month. Just over a month.
Pretty much a month, yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this time I'm not really getting ready in the way I would like, which would be to practice at the track. I'm just getting everything done for the race.
Yeah, I actually...
It's a bit different.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of work to do, man. A lot of work. It's almost 2 years of work coming together on this May. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I know. Just trying to make sure it's not an epic fail.
Yeah. Well, I think you've put enough time and work and thought into it that it isn't going to be. I saw that Matt's got one of the Scampi Rosso shirts. I definitely want to get me one of those. They look pretty.
Yeah.
They look pretty nice.
Good.
And I enjoyed talking to Beat for the RCGP podcast. If you guys haven't checked it out, we did episode 4 of the Starting Grid, the official podcast of the RCGP World Series. We had Cole Ogden and David Ronafalk on there, and also the Scampi Rosso team manager, Beat. And he had some good things to say about his team. If congratulations, because you guys got David Angaro in there. That's good stuff. Him and Patrick Hoffer. So we have 3 world champions in the RCGP first race. So that's always good stuff. Before I go on any further, I'd like to say thank you to my sponsors. To the podcast sponsors. Of course, I'd like to say thank you to Assault RC for sponsoring the Invisible Speed segment. Remember, you could go to assaultrc.com, type in Lefty19 and get 10% off your order. Also, out to Fast Race. They sponsor the 10 questions, 10 seconds segment. Go to fastraceshop.com, put in Lefty2019 and get 10% off your purchase. And of course, to JQ Racing. We don't have a coupon code for that. It just sponsors the rant and whatever else. So, hey, go check out these companies. They have some good products, especially Fast Race and Assault RC. Hopefully, we'll be announcing a new sponsor for our new segment that we're working on. And this segment will be very interactive with you guys, the viewers. So you'll have a platform to speak and talk and say what's on your mind. So I'm excited about that. Hopefully, we'll be announcing that in the next week or so. I'm getting ready for PMB. Max is coming down. He should be flying in shortly. I fly out on Tuesday. So yeah, it should be good stuff, Joseph. We're gonna have a big presence there. And before I go on any further, let me also say thank you to Brent Dansford and JQ Race and Beach RC and JQ Racing USA, Jerome Chambon, JQ Racing Europe, Donuts RC, as well as Model Tune UK, who did a pretty cool unboxing video with a Jamaican guy. It sounded pretty cool the way he was talking about the car. Good thinking out of the box there for Andrew. So yeah, good stuff. So what's up, Joseph? How's life in the Philippines?
Life's good.
Yeah.
A lot of designing and RCGP preparations.
Yeah.
We have, some... I just want to make sure that the track and the area looks really good. Looks like a top-class event. And we have a few sort of new small innovations just for the atmosphere.
Okay.
So
Can you
working on some things.
will this be revealed at the race, or can you talk about them now?
Yeah, you will see at the race.
Okay.
So it should be fun.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Something else. It's been a pretty quiet week in RC. No real news. They had the Icebreaker Race the week before last. I think Tebow won, Bornhorst second, Drake third, I want to say, and then Dylan Caldwell came in fourth. So that was a good race. It's Indy RC always puts on a good show. I think they had like 300 something entries. They had cash payouts for pro. Shane Barrier actually won some money. He won I think he won Truggy and Nitro Buggy. So Shane has enough money in open. So he has enough money to buy the case of Modelos that he owes me since last year. And he's now 21. So he can buy them for me. So good stuff. I can't think of any more races. We had Thomas down in Brazil. He raced. He won with his new Black Edition. It's kind of, I guess everybody's getting ready for this big race, which is PMB. Not too many pros coming, but it should be good competition. Even with not too many pros coming, it's going to be a good race. I'm looking forward.
Which pros are going?
Lots, Drake, Bornhorst, and Tebow. But you'll have like the Evan Vales, I believe, like the Blake Pickett's, fast East Coast guys as well. Max is going to be there. So let's see. It's
JR Mitch.
Probably JR Mitch will be there. I don't see why he wouldn't. All the fast guys from Florida are coming up. We got a big team coming there. We're gonna have about 8 tents set up. I think we're gonna have about 30 guys there. I'm not sure, which is bigger than what we had last year. So it's good stuff. Taking my old car that I bought out of my money when I first started working for you, and where I thought I was gonna bring it home and retire it. It's got one more jump left in it. One last ride. Tony and I is going to strap a big rocket on it, and he's made up this ignition system that we're going to use a third channel for it, and we are going to send it. I hope it lasts. I'm going to just send it and bring it home the way it is. I'm probably going to bend the chassis and whatnot. I mean, it may seem silly, but I actually think this is fun, and it's a good team building experience, and anybody can do it. I just hope. I don't know if I'm going to drive it. I might let Max drive it, because now you have to touch a third channel thing, and I don't think I'll be able to do that with my hand. So, I definitely don't want to jump it off the side and hit somebody or something like that. That'd be...
Yeah, you better not drive it. Just let Max do that.
Yeah. I've actually, it's so funny that we're talking about hitting people. My first big, check this, I'm sorry, I just remember this. The first big race I went to was at the Farm 1, way back in 2004. So first race ever been to. So we get there, and it was Lance Norrick's track. Drake was there, Richard Saxton, Dean Sexton, Chad wasn't there. But it was just, this is back in 8-scale Nitro heyday. So it had this triple. So I came around the triple, came off the stretch, and you make a 90, and then you jump this triple. So I jumped the triple, and the donkey kicked, and then the wind got it. And it was this girl taking pictures. And she was so concentrated. This is way before cell phone pictures. So she was so concentrated on taking the pictures. 2 guys next to her. That the car blew, and the tire, the car hit her right in her head. But it was tire first, and it actually left a Panther K2 tire print right on her forehead for the whole weekend. I was so embarrassed, man. I went over and apologized. She's just like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I'm sorry, I hit you. And even to this day, people were like, remember when that girl had that tire print on her forehead? That was me. I did that. So, I definitely don't want to hit no more people. It's crazy. So, yeah, nothing much, man. I'm excited. Good. It's going to be good to see Max again. So, he's probably tall, and I hear his voice is dropped now, and, he's finished school. So, it's like Max is kind of embarking on his RC career for a year or so now, eh?
Yeah, sounds good. Gap year from school.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what you've been training him for the last 10 years or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's you're like the Jedi, the dark Jedi, you're like a Sith, and he's like your young,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what it feels like,
Sending him to America to dominate one day.
Yeah. Well, we want to world.
A few more years of building.
Yeah, a world domination would be great, but it should be good. PMB, he's never been on a track like this. Should be high grip, smooth, big jumps. No non-dirt jumps. So it's going to be interesting to see how he adapts to this. But I think he'll be all right. And I think he gets
I think he'll be okay. Maybe it's good that there's a lot of practice because he hasn't been running nitro, obviously. So he needs some track time to get back up to speed, and I think he should be okay. The level in the pro class isn't that high. It's nothing like DNC or something like that. So
Yeah, and
just get solid qualifiers in. He should be able to make the main.
Yeah, and then he gets to spend a couple of weeks in North Carolina racing with Mike. I think they're planning on going down to Badlands for a spring sting the following weekend. And just a lot of time on the track, man, which he kind of needs because, you know, he doesn't race. Other people don't get it. He doesn't race much at all. So, or practice. So this is good stuff for him. I'm excited to see what he can do. Really excited. And he's excited. He hit me up. He's like, oh, PNB is going to be so awesome. I was like, yep. You're hanging out with your friends, aren't you? 'Cause, you know, yeah, I'm hanging out. It's like, all right, cool. So I'm excited. It's going to be great. It's going to be good stuff. Good stuff. So before we get into the podcast tonight, we got Cole Ogden on. I'm going to talk to him from Spain. Him and David are there practicing, getting ready for RCGP. I like it. They're doing all the social media stuff. I talked to Cole on the RCGP podcast. He's really enjoying Spain. So he was, you know, thank you for him for coming on kind of short notice here for this podcast, episode 21. And Joseph, I'm on episode 21. You told me I wouldn't even get past 1.
Yeah, every episode that you drop is a surprise, a positive surprise.
Yeah. So
I mean, you're definitely going to run out of steam here shortly, I think. So
yeah, maybe not. I think my next few guests, I like to get some of the old school guys on. I like to hear their stories. I really would like to get somebody like Yannick Aiguan or if their English is good enough. You know, we have the Australian guys.
He speaks good enough in English.
Okay. Yeah, it's still a lot of people to get on. Hopefully we get some news going in RC. Right now it's kind of meh. So if there's no news, there's nothing really to talk about. So but we do have some news to talk about. And I ain't gonna let you get away with this, and I've gotten a lot of questions about this. Before we go into the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment, you have something to talk about, you know, because I've been getting questions about this since the China race, and people want answers to what they saw. So, you know, tell us about it.
I already know what this is.
Yeah, you already know what this is, so you're going to have to tell us. There were some spy shots from the SIGP, and you had no red stickers on your body, and you had an OS in your car. So I got multiple questions about this, and people sending me this picture, and we didn't touch on it on the last podcast because we were just a little bit too excited about other things. So, hey, here's your time. What's going on? Are we running OS now? What's going on? What happened to you in Reds?
Well, actually, the first picture that was released, I actually had the red stickers on, but an OS engineer, because I forgot. Like, it just looks... Actually, I'm just looking at my car now. There's still a red sticker.
Yeah, you had one picture for red stick on there. You had no on the side, too.
Yeah, I removed them, but actually there's one on the front, too. Maybe the number was covering it, so I didn't see it at the race. But anyway, yeah, it's true. I'm no longer running for Reds, and the JQ Racing team won't be running Reds anymore. That's a new development now this year. And the reason I didn't say anything was because it was a mutual split with Reds, and I was waiting for them to announce something, but then they never did, and they say that they won't announce anything. But I'm constantly getting questions about it and messages, and same for you, I guess, so I think we have to address it.
Yes.
Okay, I wasn't planning on saying much of anything, but then because of what's happened, I will say a bit more. And what's happened is that, for me, when you work together with someone for a while and then you stop working together, the best way to do it is typically thanks for your time and move on. Now what's happened is almost that. Like, it almost happened. We stopped working together. Nothing was announced. I was waiting for an announcement. But then I get threats from them that they're going to sue me if I say anything about them. And I don't think that that's the way to handle it, really. So I'm just going to tell you my side. And that's it. If they want to sue me because I tell the truth, then that's on them. But I don't think so, because I don't really have anything bad to say about them. Okay. So the truth of the matter is that in any relationship, in any working relationship, or, like normal family relationship, there's two sides to every story. It takes two to tango. And when things go wrong, normally both are to blame. So in this situation, it's not that the Reds' engines are bad. They're actually good. I mean, they're perfectly good enough to win World Championships, European Championships. I've had good results with them. The problem that occurred was just that our relationship deteriorated and we weren't able to work together anymore. And when that happens, then it's just best to part ways. So the problem, as I see it, was that on my side, I would give feedback to them about problems I had or things that I thought should be improved on the engine. And then instead of them accepting the feedback, because I'm very direct, and instead of kind of beating around the bush, I just say like, okay, this is good, this is shit. Like I'm very direct with my feedback. They weren't able to, they weren't able to process the feedback without taking it personally. So I think that's really what then made the relationship go bad. So I would give feedback. I would give it in a way which wasn't, polite or respectful enough for them. So then they got defensive and didn't accept the feedback I had, and we started to argue instead of working together to improve the product. And in that situation, it's just not worth carrying on. So we decided to stop, and that's it. So that just happened recently. Mm-hmm. And that's that. So no more Reds, and I'll be running OS from now on.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's unfortunate, of course, because you had a very long relationship with Reds. You was one of their I would say, what's the word? One of their greatest. I'm looking for the word. What, champion? No, not champion. You was one of their greatest proponent of their products, and you did them justice. I can't complain. The two Reds engines that I have done. One lasted forever. I don't know how long it lasted for, and I still have one in my car, and it's still going strong. So, unfortunately, sometimes relationships go bad, and we have to go our separate ways. And it looks like you guys have kind of gone away in a mutual agreement. And sometimes
it's a shame it had to end like with bad feelings, in a sense. Like I feel like this could have ended well also, but I mean, I don't know. They are passionate. I'm passionate. I guess they think it's okay to threaten with legal action if I mention this. I think that's bullshit, and that's why I'm sort of saying this now. If they want to sue me because I tell my side of the story, then that's fine. They can do that. I just think the RC industry is too small for this kind of petty nonsense. I think they should get over it. I'll get over it, and we move on. Like I said, they have a good product. I like them as people. I liked running for them for all these years. It was fun. And, I wish them all the success, and we'll go our separate ways, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what can we do from now on? You have a new engine sponsor. You got to move on and have fun with them now and see what results you get with that engine. So, unfortunately.
Yeah, and obviously there's a lot of JQ guys now running Reds. So some of them got them through us, and we won't be offering them anymore. From now on, we'll be offering OS engines. But all of you guys who are running Reds through your local distributor or dealer or whatever deals you have, I mean, you can keep running Reds. That's fine. As you already know, because you're running them, the performance is okay. And we aren't forcing anyone to switch or anything like that. So before that becomes a rumor, I just like to squish that. So you can keep running whatever engine you like, but we will be selling the OS engines and running them.
Yeah, that's for sure. Because we do have quite a few of our drivers that run Reds engines all around the world. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, as things go, hey, my mom used to say, look back, but never go back. Go forward. So
exactly.
That's what we have to do from now on. But anyway, dude, enough about that. Let's get into the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. We got some questions from some of our viewers here, and you got to answer some setup questions. All right?
Cool beans. All
right.
You are now locked in to the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. Check out AssaultRC.com for the latest products for all your performance RC needs. Featuring the best lubes and specialty tools on the market. Use promo code LEFTY19 at checkout for 10% off your entire order at AssaultRC.com.
Welcome, everybody, to the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. This is the segment dedicated to setups. You have questions for Joseph, post them in our Facebook page under our Assault RC post that we have. It's also in Instagram. And this week's question is coming from Eddie Fink. Actually, Eddie Fink is an old time. I believe this guy used to be on the starting grid, man. I remember his name, Finck. I believe you used to see this on the starting grid way back in the day. He has a two-part question. Actually, I think you covered this in episode 18, but we'll just go over it real quick. Just so we people will know. His first question was dog bone plunge into out drives. How important is this as far as geometry and handling? Eddie, we actually went over this in episode 18, I believe, on the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment in some depth. So you can check that out there. But your next question actually is pretty significant, and Joseph can answer that. It's dog bone angle, arm sweep. Once again, what effect on the rear and front of the car does this have? So go ahead, Joseph.
Yeah, so it's connected. So when on power, the drive shafts want to straighten out. So when you sweep the drive shaft forward and looking from above, if you move the rear hub forward, you're going to angle the drive shaft. And when there's a larger angle on the drive shaft, there's more bind. So just like last week when I was saying, if dog bone is also moving in and out of the outdrive, there'll be more friction. Well, if there's more angle to the drive shaft, there'll also be more friction. And when there's more friction, the drive shafts want to bind up the suspension more. So the suspension won't move as easily and won't be as soft. So that will make it so the suspension will be softer off power, and then when you get on power, the suspension will be stiffer because of the drive shaft fighting the suspension movement. So that's what that does. And it gets more complicated for us because when we add dog bone sweep, we also change the wheelbase. So we're doing two different things at the same time. So it's hard to distinguish which change is more significant, the angle of the drive shaft or the wheelbase change. So you would really have to be able to check and verify which change is making the difference. You would need two different chassis and then adjust the wheelbase to the same and have different angles. So it just gets a bit more complicated than that. But for your normal racer, what you want to think about, I think, is just your hub position. So just think of moving your hub forward for more traction, and then think about moving your rear hub backwards if you're on a very high grip track, for example, or on a very bumpy track. So I would keep it simple and just do it that way. And each car has a sort of sweet spot for the hub where the drivers tend to run it most of the time, and that's probably where you want to start, and then you try moving it forwards and backwards from there and find the best position for yourself, and then try it on a few different tracks. Then on the front, things also get complicated because if you move the C-hub forwards and backwards, or the whole arm forwards and backwards, you're also changing the steering angles at the same time. So it's not only about the dog bone angle there also, it's also about wheelbase and also about the steering geometry. So you're changing 3 different things now. And most cars, you don't really adjust the front as much because there's one position which will be the most neutral, like the steering feel will be good and it just does everything well. It's balanced with the rest of the car. And for us, at least for me, on the Black Edition, that was not the standard setting. So we tend to Dremel the front arms and move them 2 mil back. And the reason we do that is because after doing that, we gain a bit of steering, but the bigger difference is the steering just feels more natural. Like it's easier to just navigate the track and you don't feel like you are fighting the car. It kind of goes where you want it to go more easily. And I couldn't even tell you if that's more because of the wheelbase, or how the weight distribution slightly changes on the tire, or if that's steering geometry, or if that's the drive shaft angle. I don't know the answer to that question. I just know that in this position it works really well for me, and that's what I run.
Okay. So that, I don't know, are you finished answering that question then?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you, Eddie, for your question. I hope that clears things up. I believe I'm pretty sure that it's episode 18 that we got into talking about bone plunging.
Yeah, it's there.
But let's go on. We have another question from Scott Large, and this is about tire foam. He says, tire foam question. Should you use new every time or reuse? Actually, it's a few questions. What's the benefit of using old versus new foam? How many times should you reuse? Is using old foam the same as using softer compound tires? And go.
Okay, so new foams will be harder and a bit bigger, and used foams will be softer and a bit more flat. So I would say with J Concepts and AKA, I would say you can reuse it 1 time. So you use a foam twice. You use it when it's new once, and then you cut it out and you use it 1 more time. It's not the same thing to use a softer foam or a softer compound. So the way the car would behave is slightly different. I would say that people would want to use a soft foam to make a car go better through bumps, or to give the car a bit more traction, or if they are using a tire that's small. Some tire designs are a bit smaller, like AKA Typo, for example. I think the Typo was the one. They've had some tires with just, like when you mount them with new foams, it seems like the tread is very round, but you would want the tread to be more flat, so it has more surface area on the track. So if you have a tire that you mount and it's very round and you see that all the pins aren't touching the ground, maybe you could try a used foam that's more flat and soft, and then when you mount it, then you'll see that there's more surface area on the track. So that might be one situation where you would want to use that, and then you'll find that you have more grip. Okay. But that's not going to mean that the tire will wear out too quick, for example, or which could happen with a softer compound. Or maybe with a softer compound, the pins bend, and because the pins bend, they don't dig into the track as much, so you don't have traction. So it's different to have a soft foam or soft tire. It's not the same thing exactly.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Anything to add to that?
Yeah, it's not really a huge deal. So I think using new or used foams is something that most drivers probably wouldn't notice the difference. It's not going to win you a race. This is something that the top drivers do, and they've sort of, they're already doing everything else, and they're looking for that tiny edge, and that's when they might do something like this. Like most people, you don't need to worry about it.
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, thank you, Scott, for your question. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Joseph, for your time. Remember, guys, this is the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. Go to assaultrc.com, type in Lefty19, and get 10% off your order. Assault RC's got some pretty cool stuff. I recommend getting their tool holder. It's really good. It's also good to smack Joseph upside the head with it, which I've threatened to do many times. This is good and heavy. And thank you, Joseph, man. I'm going to get on and interview our guest this weekend.
Cool. That's never going to happen, by the way.
What's that?
You're never going to smack me around the head with that thing.
No, I'll just throw it at you.
Right.
All right, I'll talk to you later on.
Only if you throw with your left hand.
Yeah. I almost won $100 doing that. So there you go. All right. Cool, dude. Thank you for your time. I'll call you back later.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
This is Cole Ogden, and you're listening to the No Name RC Podcast.
So, hey, guys, what's going on? We just finished talking to Joseph on the Assault RC Invisible Speed segment. Now it's time to talk to our main guest. Right from Spain, is in Spain, chilling out, hanging, training for RCGP and the HB race and whatever racing he's got going on. Killer Cole Ogden. Can I give you that nickname, or can we call you Beast from the East? Grizzly Cole Ogden. I don't know. You got that beard going on. We need to get you a nickname.
Whatever floats your boat. I mean, the grizzly one, I kind of shaved my beard the other day, so it's not really as thick as it was, but
cool. So
I got the Botas going on.
The Botas?
It's kind of like a shadow, like a 5 o'clock shadow-ish, a little bit longer, but not as thick as it was at DNC. So
it's all right, man. The bird's all right. Birds are in right now. It's cool.
Yeah,
you'll be all right. So what's up, Cole? You're in Spain. You're hanging out with David. You and David are driving daily. You guys are enjoying life in Spain. You're practicing. How's that going for you, man?
Yeah, man, it's fun. As an American, I didn't really think that, moving over here and staying for as long as I would be so, cool with it. But, it's actually going really good. It's different lifestyle, different food, but, once you get adjusted, it's all good. I'm liking it. The women look good. So
I'm sure.
There's always something good to look at.
Oh, yeah, that makes life easier. For sure.
Oh,
I agree there. But for those that don't know who we're talking to, this is Cole Ogden. He's from Atlanta, Georgia, 25 years old. He's Hot Body's #1 driver in America. He's really fast. I don't know. I don't have your big wins or accomplishments. The only 2 accomplishments that I've seen you do that I think are just awesome anyway is your performance at the Nationals in 2017 when they docked you a lap and you came back and kicked ass. And then when Drake pushed you wide at Southern Nats before the pit lane, and you had to it happened so fast I didn't even see it. They're like, Cole just came through pit lane, like full chat, and I was like, where? I was standing right there and I didn't even see it. You're one of the fastest East Coast guys that's come out in a long time, and you're one of the guys to actually make it. So I mean, people know who you are, pretty much. They know who Cole Ogden is.
I guess you could say that.
You've been in this for a while. So, what are some of your bigger wins, though? Like, I know you've done really good on the East Coast, so.
Yeah, I've won the Wicked Weekend race multiple times, 4 or 5 times, in Nitro Buggy. The Southern Indoor Championships, I've won that a couple times. The Southern Nationals, I've actually won a few times. Let's see, what else? There's a couple others, but I don't know, I hadn't really won like a humongous race in a while. I've just kind of like been up there at the top, showing them, I got the pace to run with all these guys. So like Nationals, 2017, that was a good race for me.
Yeah.
I was feeling good. My car was good, and, good old Roar just wanted to screw somebody. And I guess that was just me for that weekend. And I kind of shoved that back in their face and told them all to eat shit. Kind of pissed me off. But
hey, you drove well, dude. I mean, it sparked you. It made you fire. And I was like, this guy. Like, did they dock you in the semi or
Yeah. So they docked me in the semi. And the thing was, and I still don't get it to this day. So you got the semi-odd and the semi-even. The I think the even's first and the odd second. So in the race order, the odd is last, right? In the race order. So the semi-odd is last. So the semi-odd people had to be at the track that morning at 7 a.m. to marshal, while the even semi guys could sleep in. They didn't even have to, you know what I'm saying? They didn't even have to be there. So that was a little bit unfair to me. But, you know, I was just like, you know, I'm in the semi, whatever. I don't have to show up and marshal.
Yeah.
So I show up like, you know, an hour, 2 hours after they start, and they're telling me, oh, you're docked a lap. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, what? And somebody started saying like, oh, yeah, Tebow wasn't out there. Austin Blair wasn't out there. And at like the last second, the first race started, and somebody had jumped out there for Tebow.
Yeah, I actually know who that is, too. That's my buddy from here.
So they left me and Austin Blair. You know, I guess our spots were just empty, so they just docked me and him a lap. But, you know, luckily I got mad, and I guess I drove pretty good. Mad, which is crazy, but and then I put some clean laps down, and I think I got third in the semi. So yeah, they docked me a lap in the semi, and I actually ended up winning the semi. But, you know, since they took the lap from me,
right,
you know, I didn't win. I got third, but I actually ended up passing Mayfield on the last lap, like 3 corners left to win the semi, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah. And you actually was doing pretty good in that final. You got out to a lead, and you was like flying. If I'm correct. I can't remember. It's been a while. But the final, you got out to a lead, and then I think your tires went or something in the end, and you just kind of fell back.
Yeah, I think it was a little combination of the tires, and, you know, what really happened was, so I got a good start. You know, I started like 7th or something, ended up working my way up to the front, took the lead like a couple minutes in, and I had a good lead. You know, it was good. You know, I think I ran a little bit softer tire than what I probably should have ran, and about 14, 15 minutes in, I guess they started kind of fading a little bit. That hurt me a little bit, not too much, but then what really hurt was after the race, I go to blow off my car, and I found that my brake linkage wasn't even attached to the throttle horn. Like, it came out of the plastic that bolts to the throttle horn.
No way.
So I lost the rear brakes. So if you were familiar with that track, they had that little staircase thing in the center. Well, I would jump it and, like, nail the brake on the top. Well, when I lost my brakes, if you saw where I lost the lead, I lost the brakes, and I landed on top, and my rear end just washed out on the stairs, and I literally went flying to the fence.
Yeah. That was a rough track.
And that was all she wrote.
That was a rough track. Yeah, man, that track was brutal. It got really blown out. That dragging back that you're talking about was it was real off-road for sure. Where did you end up finishing at that race? I can't remember.
So I ended up, after the bad wreck, I ended up falling back pretty far, but I ended up salvaging 5th. So, you know, I took it and ran with it. All
right. Well, a lot of people may know you, but a lot of people may not know you. So I like to always touch on the early years. You know, you grew up in Georgia, racing on the East Coast, which is really different from a lot of the racers that I talk to. Most of them are West Coast guys. And, you know, let's talk about that, your early years. Like, when did you start? I know your dad used to race or still races. He raced yesterday, I think. He raced at Phil Hurd.
Yeah, he raced in Phil Hurd down in Savannah. Yeah. But back in the day, you know, Pops used to race on road, like back in the 80s. And, you know, when I was little, I didn't really have, well, when I got to where I could drive, I started driving when I was about 6, 7, just here and there. Like, we had a backyard track, and we would park the car like in the backyard and turn the lights on so I could run laps like all night. But that's pretty much where it started. And then I raced a little bit here and there throughout those years, you know, elementary school, middle school, and then high school for me is really where I kind of was like, oh, you know, I love racing. Like, racing's my thing. My dad asked me if I wanted to actually race go-karts or do RC cars. And since we were already established racing RC cars, I was like, well, I mean, we can't just quit now. Like, you know, I feel like I'm getting pretty good, and I want to go to some big races. Like, let's do this, you know. So from then on, it wasn't until about midway through high school, so like 10th, 11th grade, where I started to like race more. And back then, I was with Losi. Losi didn't have an 8 scale, so I was Losi 10 scale stuff. And then we raced the jam and stuff for a little bit until Losi came out. That thing was, man, I couldn't keep that thing together. But I won some races with it, so I switched to Losi and started going to the bigger races. Adam and Lutz were traveling around, coming to the East Coast more often, or going, like Mississippi, just wherever. And I was just trying to go to those races with those guys and race them and see where I stacked up, so it was when I realized that I could like hang with those guys, I was just like, yeah, like, dang, I want to go to nationals, like maybe Dirt Nitro Challenge or Silver State, because I heard about all those races. Those were the big races to go to back then. But I didn't really start going there until I graduated high school.
Okay. What big races are we talking about back in those days? This is like,
as in like when Adam and Lutz went to?
Yeah. You're talking Japanese.
Let's see. What are those races?
Was it
like P&B? Obviously, that was the biggest one for me on the East Coast back in those days. Obviously, I go there, and then they would go to like those other smaller races, like what's the track in Mississippi? Flowwood. Yeah. I'd hit up those races in Flowwood, and there was like a Losi race down in Florida, and like just all those little races that Adam and Lutz and a couple of the other fast guys would travel to, and that's where I really just try to beat those guys and make a name for myself. Yeah. So when I graduated, I actually didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew I was good at racing toy cars. So I was like, you know what, Pop's got me a job at the dealership he actually works at. And I was like, I'll just work and try to go to these races that I can, whatever I can afford. And that's about the time where I didn't really have a chassis sponsor. So Pops did, though. My dad actually was sponsored by Losi, so I would, do my little work in here, making minimum wage. I didn't make squat, dude.
Right.
And I would literally put every dollar I had into remote control cars, like parts, entry fee, travel, like just to get me, to the races. And after that, I went to a couple big races and started getting good and realizing like, hey, like I'm actually okay at this. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to step it up a level and compete with these guys and go to these big races. And next thing you know, here I am.
Yeah. Didn't you go to Neo Buggy a few times as well?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I actually let's see, let me remember.
You were still running
Yeah,
Losi.
this is when I still ran Losi. So Losi, and I wasn't sponsored by Losi right after high school. My dad was, so I kind of bought parts through him, and they would offer me, like a 50 or 75 whatever deal, and I would just like, unless it's free, like I'm not going to take it because
right. You're getting.
I don't need to, because that was back when they enforced, running Nitro Tane, running all the stuff that they distributed.
Right.
And I kind of didn't want to get stuck under that, so I was like, well, I'm not gonna run for Losi unless they can, help me out for good. So I think it was my first year with Losi. I got a factory deal, and this was the year after I got on with Reds, so like 13, maybe 14-ish. Right. And Reds actually helped me the most with travel back when, I would go to like the Neo race. And, I'm super appreciative of that. I love those guys. But they helped me out a lot, man. They helped me go places and pay for stuff that I couldn't. And, I'm super thankful for it. And, yeah, I went to the Neo, and I think I got 10th one year. I think my first year I got 10th. And then, like, the second year, I don't know if I was with Losi that year or not. I think I was Mugen. Yeah, I think I went to Neo twice. But
okay. So obviously, your dad was a really big influence in your racing. He's actually still pretty good. Like, he can drive. Like, he it's not like he wasn't a slouch. So he must have been good back in the day.
Yeah, the old man's good, man. He's still got it, and he tries to go to the track here and there when he can, just to knock the rust off. But yeah, I mean he was definitely a big part of me sticking to the racing thing. Like he got me into it. He helped me out a lot. I learned a lot, but you don't really start learning even more until you go out to those big races. Because he never really, stepped out of
East Coast,
going to the East Coast races. Yeah, like the nationals, and so like the first kind of couple years I was doing that, I kind of learned stuff the hard way. Like I think it was 2013, 14, the nationals in Texas.
right? Was that
with Losi?
Oh, the big track, yeah.
Yeah, Mike's Hobby Shop. The indoor
Mike's
covered
okay.
place. Yeah. So this is an example of me learning from my mistakes. But I was in the quarters, bumped up, was in the semis, didn't have enough time in between the races to charge my battery. So like it's like 2 minutes left in the semi, and I'm like fourth, like in a bump spot to go to my first main final at nationals. Like this is my first nationals ever.
Mm-hmm.
And my battery died with like a minute and a half left. I was so hurt. Kind of like Leclerc today,
Yeah. We've been watching.
I was bummed.
I wasn't, because I'm a Hamilton fan. I'm actually, being as we're talking about that right now, and David's probably near you. I'm upset because I see Liverpool has just scored, and I'm not happy. As a Manchester City fan right now, I'm not happy. So, that's okay. Let's get back to the podcast.
David, actually, I don't know where he went. He probably went for a run.
Well, I'm surprised he hasn't sent me a message yet saying, haha. So, yeah, so that was a bummer, dude. Like how old were you, man? This is 2013, so it's 2019.
19.
Yeah. Wow, what a bummer. What a bummer.
Trying to make a name for myself.
Yeah, well, hey, all things come to those who wait, so.
I'm just one of those guys that believe in, hard work. Like, you can't just be handed shit, you don't really take pride in what you do if you're just handed it, And I
agree with you.
wasn't handed anything. I kind of worked for everything I have, and, I'm really appreciative of what I have now, and I enjoy it. I love what I do.
Yeah. No, you was coming up in a time in East Coast when there was a lot of fast drivers. Maybe I'm older than you, so I remember these guys. Who were drivers that influenced you in your area in that time, besides your dad?
In my area?
Yeah, in the East Coast. Maybe.
Yeah. So in high school, I know you probably remember. Remember Ryan Lopez?
Yes.
That was my boy.
Yeah.
That was my boy, and we kind of we traveled. I tried to go where he went,
right?
Because he was the guy, on the East Coast at that time, and he was good. Like wherever he went, he would do good, and I was kind of like wanted to do what he did. I wanted to be good, so we kind of started traveling a little bit here and there, going to races together, and yeah, I think Lopez was one of the guys that kind of motivated me to go to the races and wanted to race cars. But yeah, I think Lopez, yeah.
And he's completely out of racing now. Like just been for years. It's so crazy how that happened.
Yeah, I mean, the guy got a good job. He got a good job offer in Texas, and he took it and ran with it.
I don't blame him. Hey,
for sure.
Real life happens, man. RC cars come second.
Real life does happen. You're right.
So you ever officially sponsored with TLR then? Because now we're transitioning to when you think you're going to become a pro.
Yeah, so late high school years, like 11, 12, I was not sponsored at all. Like the only sponsor I had was like Mernon Modified Motors. Like that was my first sponsor actually, like Mernon.
Yeah.
He started, giving me motors, modding my motors, and dude, his motors were badass, man. I would run like Nova base motors and like the 4BTT.
Yeah, I remember that.
But yeah, he was like my first sponsor. And let's see, what else? What else did you ask?
No, well, like when did you start making that turning point when you was like, all right, I can be a pro. Like this is going to happen. Like I know this is going to happen now.
At the point where I was like, you know what? I can do this was the 13 nationals for sure. Mm-hmm. when I was like, you know what, like I was doing really good and just, bad luck. My battery went dead.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, you know what, I'm going to just stick it out, keep working for a little bit, and just see what I can do. Like, see if I can get any more sponsors, any more help to go places, to race bigger races, and that time came. And with Reds, actually, they took a chance. They helped me a lot, man, with travel and getting places. And
so you guys never really officially sponsored by TLR then, or did that come later?
No, it came like 2015.
Okay.
That was the first year where I was like, TLR sponsored me, and I just took it and ran with it for as long as I could, and it didn't really last too long. But
yeah, well, let's focus on your professional career anyway now. And what happened at TLR? I mean, you was kind of you came in on a time and it was just Drake and Fend and you, and Fend is kind of in and out of school. I think at this time he wasn't really. I guess was he racing as much?
This is when Dakota was on Lightning on Fire in 10 scale back in those days. I'm sure even in 8 scale, like him and Ty were duking it up, everywhere. But I mean, I pretty much took that and tried to do what I can. And then Mayfield got on, and I was on TLR 2015. No, actually 14. I think it was 14. So 14, 15, and then going into 16, I had negotiated a deal. We had it all, travel, do that. We're gonna go here. So I'm like, oh, cool, great. So I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready for DNC. Everything's good. Go to DNC. I do DNC. I think I got like 8th or something, 8th or 9th, or I don't know. Oh, I know what happened. A servo went out.
Okay.
Damn Spectrum servo. Because, that's when they made you run their stuff.
Right.
So after the DNC, I was approached by Kevin, the team manager, and he told me that what we had negotiated wasn't going to happen.
Right.
So right before DNC, I actually had got a call from Adam Drake.
Okay.
From Mugen. This is when he was with Mugen. He had just switched to Mugen, or got fired from TLR, got on Mugen, and he was trying to recruit. And and he called me and was like, "Hey, can we work something out?" And I was like, "You know what? I greatly appreciate it, but this has happened with TLR. I'm happy. Like, I don't want to do any changes now. So after DNC happened, all of that shit fell through, and I was kind of like, well, damn. What do I need to do now? So actually, when Adam called me and we got off the phone, he's like, well, if you ever need anything, just call me. Let me know. So after I fell out, the TLR shit fell through. I talked to Kevin. When he called me on the phone, it was literally like a 30-second conversation. I was like, all right, got to go, bye.
Yeah.
So I called Adam right after that.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, man, you said if I ever need anything, like, give you a call. I was like, well, here I am.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that offer still available? And he was like, okay, give me 5 minutes. And it literally wasn't like 5 minutes. It was like a minute. He texted me back and was like, yep, when do you want to switch? And I said, right now.
Wow. So that's when you kind of transitioned from, like, that's when you became a pro, right? Like
that. Yeah, I mean, I think.
Yeah. Well,
because I mean, everything was going to go good with TLR. I was going. They were going to send me to all these races and take care of all this stuff, and then next thing you know, the shit fell through, hit the fan. And I called Adam, and they hooked me up, man. Took care of me, and they sent me to all these races, and
you done really well with the Mugen. You really did. You was on fire with it. I mean, in the 2017 Nationals, you was there doing that. And you was doing really good with the Mugen. And then it kind of, I think it's kind of like, no offense to Mayfield, but it seems like Mayfield came to TLR, and that's when you kind of got pushed to the side. And then he comes to Mugen, and you have that 1 year of Mugen, and then you kind of get pushed to the side again. Like, that's how I look at it anyway. Not pushed to the side, but
a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell the story a little better, but your time with Mugen, like, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so I mean, time with Mugen was good. We had a good relationship. They took care of me, sent me to races, and everything was good, man. They just were happy with with what I was doing. Like, go to the races, win races. Pretty much it. Like, we all worked good together. It was fun. And then, approaching the end of my time at Mugen, I didn't really expect it to end like that. Well, I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, it was good.
Right.
Everything was fine. But at the end of it, I was kind of looking for more, like,
right,
because I was starting to go to more races. I was starting to, put in results, and I'm like, you know what? I need more help. Like, and they, honestly, like, it is at Mayfield. I mean, he did take out a bunch of the budget, but they have Adam, they have Mayfield, they had Truey.
yeah.
I mean, they were like pretty much tacked out, and they just couldn't.
They couldn't. I got it.
Fulfill what I needed,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when HB stepped up to the plate and wanted me to join on, and I was like, you know what, let's do it.
Yeah, because
but it ended good though. When they found out that HB approached me and I was gonna switch, they couldn't do what they wanted. What I wanted, and they were really nice. They were like, you know what? It was at the end of 17, so the year hadn't even ended yet, and we had already negotiated all the stuff with HB, and they were like, yeah, if you want to just go ahead and go early, hey, we're cool with that. So I was like, okay, cool. So it was all mutual. It was good.
Yeah, but I think, like, I kept saying, like, you had to be like number one at somewhere. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
that wasn't going to happen at either of those companies. So, and then it worked out for you because then you switched to HB, and I was like, oh, that's a great move. That's a really great move. He's going to be the number one USA guy. He's, HB is really pushing. David had just won the world championship. So HB was hot, like 2017 it was like on fire, like people. And then you came along, and then you was like the USA face, because I believe they tried to do it with Cody King, and that didn't work out. And then you came along. So hey, let's talk about that. You started in HB at the end of 2017, I want to say.
Yep, November 2017.
Yeah. So you've been with them for a year and a bit now. How's that going for you?
Love it, man.
Yeah.
It feels like home. It really does.
That's good, man.
Everybody works good together. There's no hard feelings towards anybody. We all want to do good. We all want to help people. It's not one of those things where we're keeping stuff from each other. It's just a good working relationship.
Yeah, I did see that when I was at Santa Barbara last year when we was getting ready for DNC for 2018. David was there, Torrance was there, you guys were there practicing, training, getting ready, sharing ideas. And that's actually what goes into my next question is, how is working with these guys? I mean, you're working with David, you're working with Torrance, Adrian. You got some heavy hitters there in your corner to help you out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where they're the defending world champs of many titles, so it's one of those things where it wasn't even a question about switching, it's more along the lines of let's win races, so I mean it's good. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of had a medium first year with them, I would say. I want to, like, you had good results, but like I don't think, like, I thought people were like, oh, no, you're going to set the world on fire. And then I was like, you know what? You got to give him some time with this car. Let him get used to it. And you had good results. You're doing better now so far in the years 2019. You're over there doing the right thing. Obviously, you're in Spain. You're there with David. You guys are going to these, like, I've been watching your videos on social media. You're going to some of the best tracks I've ever seen.
Putting in work.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you got to do. Like, I know living in the East Coast kind of is a disadvantage because you don't really get to race against guys who are equally as fast. I mean, I'm not saying there's some guys that are fast on the East Coast. That's definite, but we're not talking about you're not racing against David Ronnefolk or Ryan Mayfield on a regular basis.
Yeah, like the field's just deeper out west.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's more racing. I really believe there's more racing on the East Coast, but it's just better. Not better guys. It's more pro guys out there that are on that level that you're at. So that's what makes the difference. So that's pretty good.
Just one of those things about you just got to go to those big races and race with those guys.
Yeah.
what you got to do sometimes. Like on the East Coast, it's definitely not easy.
No, it's
to
not.
make it. So, it's just, when those guys come over there, you just got to go there. Got to go race with them. And that's what I did.
Yeah, but it definitely seems like you found a home. You have a following. David has a really good following. You have a good American following. I mean, I've been to East Coast races. You got a whole, Hot Bodies is really popular there. Hot Bodies is popular all over America.
Yeah. Like y'all trying to claim y'all had the biggest team at Fireball last year. Let's
not
talk
the biggest
about that.
team. Not the biggest team. The best looking pits. Joseph said the biggest team.
I remember that. I think it was JQ that said y'all had the biggest team,
Right.
and I'm like, no.
No, we had the best looking pits though. That's what we do.
It does look good.
It does look good. Hey, we got to do what we got to do, man. We're the David and everybody else is Goliath, So
Yeah.
But it's all good. Like I really like the vibe that the HB team has. Like everybody's like, you do come in and help everybody out, and that's good stuff. You're doing what you have to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's, for example, like, I'm not going to Psycho Nitro, but there are a bunch of our team guys that are, and, I do what I can to help anybody, dude, like, anybody, anytime, anywhere, and I'm not going to P&B, so I'm like, you know what, I'm going to make some setup sheets for these guys, just to give them something to work off of, because I went there last year. I mean, I know the dirt, I know what kind of big jumps and stuff they're going to have. So, I mean, I had an idea of what needs to be, how the car needs to be set up. So, stuff like that, it's just helping out.
Yeah. You definitely have a following. I talked to you the other day. I told you to get on that social media more, and you're listening, so that's good. Build yourself as a brand, man. Cole Ogden.
Yes, sir.
Do that.
Yeah.
So you did also make a recent move that shocked everybody. You left J Concepts and went to Hot Race. So you're like now the number one Hot Race driver in America, because Hot Race is pushing. Hot Race is they're very aggressive. I like TJ. I like the owner Nicola. I've talked to both of them extensively. They're really good people. They like what they're doing, and Hot Race is coming, man. In the tire game, it's another competitor there now. That's gonna be they're in the top 4. So.
Yeah.
How's that going for you with Hot Race tires? How you liking those?
Oh, man, I love them.
Yeah.
I mean, I really can't say anything else. I mean, they're really consistent. Tire wear's great. Like you said, the TJ and Daniel and Nicola, I mean, they're all just really, really good people. And, they're just trying to build a following over here. They needed someone to represent the brand. And I was at a point where I was like, you know what, I think I can do this. So, we just made it happen, and here we are. We're pushing it like crazy. We're getting more hobby shops selling our stuff, and it's looking good, man. I mean, I just see more and more people every day, buying Hot Race tires or sending me messages about what tires are my favorite, what do I like to run the most. So, we're coming on strong, and it was a surprise, but it's just, like I said before, with needing more support, it's just I was at a point where I just needed a little bit more support, and I mean, there's so many guys on JC.
Yes.
And they just, he couldn't do it at the moment, and I just thought I had to do it.
Yeah.
So I took it and ran with it.
Yeah, I call it when you stop being a fanboy and start being a champion. That's that's how I look at it. Sometimes you gotta just go out on that ledge and do it.
Yeah, I don't really like to follow. I like to lead. So
yeah, there we go.
That's sort of one of those things where
good stuff. Yeah. I think it's great. And I think Nicola is really, I like his style. Like, I think he's awesome. Like, he's savage in a way, but he's savagely,
awesome,
he's savage
so cool.
silently. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, he puts in work, man. He's a really hard worker. He does his homework, and he's making tires. He's making tires. That's it. Like, he puts in the work, he does the research, and it shows.
Yes, it does. I predict that if you on board, Hot Race is definitely gonna make a big dent in the tire game in America this year, and that's good because competition's good for everybody. So,
sure.
All right. So, as I said earlier in the podcast, to me, you are the first real East Coast guy to make it to this level that you're at. There were lots of fast guys coming up when I was racing. Like, I used to go to the East Coast a lot back in the early 2000s. We had guys that were fast. Bobby Moore was fast. He wasn't just a revo racer. He actually was pretty good in 8 scale.
Yeah, he was.
Travis Scramlin was another good guy, like a young guy who was fast. Scott Stoll, man, who else?
I believe you know all these names, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I've been in the hobby for a long time. Chris Cruz, when I was coming up,
Chris Cruz.
Chris Cruz was the smoothest driver. You could, like that guy. People would be like, Chris Cruz doesn't even pull full throttle. He was like one of the closest, I think, that actually made it to being a pro. He put in a lot of work. That dude raced so much. Like, I don't even know where he is nowadays. But you know, these are the guys I remember when I was coming up that were the fast East Coast guys, and it's always been East Coast versus West Coast. People don't want to say that, but it always has been. Now, my question to you is, why are you why hasn't there been more guys like you from the East Coast?
Dedication, I think. Because like you said, I mean, on the East Coast, there's really nobody. Well, I mean, not nobody, but like pro, get paid to race guys.
Yeah, there isn't.
And once people notice, like, they stop running out of races to go to because of that. Like, there's just nowhere to go. So I think most of them just kind of call it quits and just move on, you know, get a job or whatever. And, you know, like I said earlier, like, it's just dedication. Like, I knew I was good, and I knew I just needed help to get to the bigger races, and I stuck it out. You know, sometimes you just got to stick it out.
Yeah, I think definitely you traveling to the East Coast to the West Coast has made that big difference. I mean, I talk to Evan Vale a lot, and I think Evan is very fast. I think right now, like the 3 fastest guys on the East Coast that aren't pros are probably like Evan Vale, Griffin Hanna, if any races, Blake Pickett, and then I could even go on and say some of the Florida guys like Justin Fales. Who else would you add in that list? I mean, there's there's a lot of talent on the East Coast. I don't really know too much about the Northeast, so I can't really talk about that. And then you have like South, like Texas and Louisiana, and there's fast guys there, but you've beat them all. And I tell Evan all the time, man, you got to go out to the West and race. Like, not just one race. You got to go out there and spend some time and do things. And I think it's the only way, man. Like we talked earlier, you have to be around faster guys to get faster.
I mean, that's what it takes. Like, if you want to be fast, you got to go race the best.
Yeah.
And if you race the best more often, then you might become one of the best.
Do you think tracks have something to do with it too? Because, like, it's
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, the size of the track definitely meant, like, having jumps or just like most East Coast tracks. I mean, they're just small. Like, I think of most East Coast tracks as being like 10 scale tracks, basically. Like, there's only a couple that I'm like, I love going to, like the Badlands.
Yeah.
The Badlands is the baddest ass track on the East Coast.
That's
like,
your favorite
period.
track?
Oh yeah, that's an 8 scale track. But you know, I definitely think the track has a little bit to do with it. Like, if you do go race on tracks that have larger jumps or more traction or even less traction with holes, like, we don't really get stuff that
gets blown out,
huge jumps or blown out, or like, we don't really get none of that over there. And honestly, being that I'm like over here in Spain and even traveling out west, like, East Coast tracks, dude, we're catered to. They prep them, and they're all nice. And even my track, you know, Henry County, my track that I go run at,
right?
I even show up and I'm like, it's clapped out. Like, it had just rained. It's like super sandy. Like, I'll go out there and prep it and get it ready to run on. Like, even that, I'm like, what? Like, I'm looking back on it now. I'm like, why the hell did I do that? Like, just go run on this shit.
Yeah,
I think the experience from track to track and stuff like that has a big impact on like driving style or even better talent at doing it.
Yeah, it seems that way. I mean, I have this discussion with a lot of people. Like, Mike Hill and I talk about it quite a lot, and because he races on the East Coast, and he kind of says the same thing. It's like, yeah, we have a lot of tracks here. And like, especially in the like you like where you live, where you're situated in Georgia, Atlanta, you have quite a few tracks like that are 3, maybe 4 hours away, and like you said, the Badlands is a good one. SMB is another good one. Phil Hurd.
Oh yeah, damn, I forgot about SMB.
Yeah.
God, Nick's gonna be so mad at me.
Yeah, And
I love SMB.
yeah, I got to race there too.
SMB and Badlands.
Phil Hard's good track, and then you can even go on to Florida, and you have great tracks there. But it
Mills
just
Pond. Yeah.
yes, but it just seems like a lot of them are very high traction. They're groomed. They don't get as blown out. And when guys tell me the tracks are blown out, and I'm looking at them and saying, I don't think that's blown out. You know, like DNC this year was blown out. You know, so
Yeah. For Silver State last year, blown out.
yeah. So I don't know, man. It frustrates me to not that there, because I know there's talent on the East Coast, but it just doesn't seem to translate into what you've done. So I'm hoping more guys can come in and follow you after this, because you're kind of laying the groundwork for them to follow. In my mind, that's how I look at it.
Yeah. I mean, and a part of it is, like there's pro, there's open, and there's sportsman. Like you might have somebody that has the potential to do good in pro, but they choose to run open. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Like, okay, you might not get free shit, but if you want to get better, you need to race the pros.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also say to people, until you win it, like until you podium, once you podium open, like if you're in sports and once you podium that, move up to open. Once you podium open, I don't know. I have mixed feelings
should
on
be
that.
no class. It should be nitro buggy. That's
You
it.
know what? I do agree with that too, but that's never, let's be realistic.
That's never going to happen.
It's never going back to that. I was probably
So many people would lose out on money and they would cry themselves back home.
Yeah, I mean, it's never going to happen because we need these big entries. And it's nothing wrong with these races. I understand that people want to race in their class and whatnot like that. But I do agree. Like when I was racing Nitro Buggy, we didn't have classes. You raced and you finished where you finished. I traveled all the way from Bermuda to Nitro Fest 2004 and was in the F main, but I had one of the best times of my life. So we got to stop.
You got nationals, like they don't have classes.
I
but
like
dude,
that. I love it.
Sells out in 5 minutes.
Well, we actually, that was a whole rant on the last podcast because I feel that the regionals should actually mean something to get to the nationals, and then people will have more practice at racing just in one class, getting teched. We actually ranted about this for like a whole bunch in the last podcast. I enjoy the nationals race. I enjoy IFMAR style racing. I love all the like the finals and stuff because you get more racing out of anything, and people just aren't used to it. And I think it comes down to it's such a catch-22 because you want to get more people in the sport, and people get discouraged when they get beat, and it's just the way. It's society now. It's nothing to do with. Yeah. It comes down to how people are society. People want participation trophies and stuff like that. And for me, sometimes I really feel sportsmen should be for children, but I know that's never going to happen. And it's if you're going to be open, okay, you can be open, but like once you start winning that stuff, move up to pro. Like, okay, yeah, you're gonna get beat, but once you start winning open, move up to pro. That's how I look at it, because we're not gonna get rid of these classes, and it's here to stay. So
that's true. I agree.
So, what about So, being as we talked about your tracks that you like on the East Coast, what's your favorite track on the West Coast?
Favorite track on the West Coast? Let's see. Like temporary or permanent?
Permanent, temporary, whatever you've been to on the West Coast.
Let's see. So, I liked Rev. It's different, but I liked Rev. Wild West too. Wild West is badass.
You really? Okay.
Wild West is pretty badass. Now Dialed. Well, I don't know what they call it now, but whatever was Dialed was Dialed.
Yeah.
Dialed is actually pretty good. I would say it's between Dialed and Wild West.
Okay. Well, I didn't get to go to Wild West this year. My track that I personally like is the one that I saw you and David at, was at Santa Barbara. And and for a West Coast track, like it has a smaller footprint, but like the elevation does make it really fun. Like Thunder Alley, it doesn't have a real big footprint, but it's fun, like because the elevation. Yeah,
it's just different. But I think I lean more towards the bigger tracks. I like bigger tracks.
Okay,
with big jumps.
Well,
I like to fly my car.
Yeah, I see that. And Dialed has some, like, Dialed is just pure, like, I think it's called SoCal Nitro Raceway.
Yes,
it's just like
180
big jump, 180 big jump. I was like, oh yeah, that's pure Supercross. Unfortunately, I didn't
Yep.
get to go there. We spent most of our time down in Palm Desert because it was the only place dry here this year for DNC. So that's cool. I can see that. I mean, jumps are exciting, but you know what? Jumps don't win races. It's been
No,
proven.
I agree.
Corner speed.
Hey, whatever we're racing on, I like it.
Yeah.
Well, most of the time.
What's a track you don't like? There's a better question for you.
Oh man,
Just one.
just one. There's many. I mean, honestly, I don't really think there's a track that I just don't like. I'm just not a fan of small tracks
Okay.
and 8 scale.
Gotcha.
Like, if it's just small, I don't like racing 8 scale on it for some reason. It's just, once it gets too small, I should just whip out a 10 scale car and start driving it. But
Sweet.
I don't know. There's not really one that I just hate. Yeah, that's strong. That's pretty strong. There's not one that I hate.
All right. We'll skip that. We'll pineapple that one. All right. So you're in Spain.
I don't pineapple.
Oh yeah, I know, but hate is a good word. Hate is a strong word. We use dislike. You don't like small. You dislike small tracks. Okay,
Yes.
I can deal with that. I understand that fully. So you're in Spain. You're with David. You guys are hanging out. You guys are living the rock star life, kind of. But you're really practicing there. You're putting in work. Tell us about these tracks that you go into, man. How different are they from what you're used to?
Way different.
Really?
I mean, let's just start with the facility. Like, I think we've been to like 3 tracks over here, and the facilities are just so nice. Like, they all have air, they all have water, somewhere to pit. Like, you don't have to bring a chair or a table. Like, you go somewhere on the East Coast in America, like, or most tracks really. I mean, you got to bring a damn chair, a table. You got to bring an extension cord for power. Like, over here, there's none of that. Like, it's all here, and just the track itself, like, it's just, I mean, it's different. Like, one of the ones we went to in Marbella was, what's that one in Marbella we went to? The track in Marbella?
Yeah, San Pedro.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. But anyway, it had like turf and carpet and asphalt. Like, it had like 4 different types of surface that you're on, and that right there kind of threw me a curveball just because of that. Like, I've never really been on a track that has 4 or 5 different surfaces. And then the Al Horain track that's in Malaga is like something that I'm used to racing on, as it's like all dirt. But I mean, the grip is just unreal though. Like, it's like racing on the moon almost. It's so like just jagged and high grip. So they're pretty cool though. Like, the facilities here are nice. The tracks are nice. I mean, they just have a different style, different feel, and that's the type of stuff that kind of makes you a better driver.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed with the European guys is what's the word I'm looking for? Their tracks allow them to learn more corner speed. Is that something that's lacking in the U.S. tracks? Because we have a lot of 180s jump, maybe a 90 here, and the European tracks.
And that's just part of like the East Coast. Like, everything's just small. There's like 180s and shit, and like here it's just big, open, sweeping corners, and it's definitely different.
Yeah, because like Greg Degani always says this to me: you want to get faster in RC, go race on road and learn corner speed, and the jumps will come after that. But if you can keep up that corner speed, then you'll be doing all right. Are you gonna make it down to the track that had the Neo race last year?
Yes, we have plans on going there.
To the Baldo.
We're actually going to go to the Euro B, where they're having the Euro B this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's in Valencia.
Okay.
We're going to go up there and do a day or two at the Valencia track before they close it, and then we're actually going to hit up the Radovan track. I think it's the Baldo brothers track.
Oh yeah, I love that track.
Radovan. Oh. I can't wait to go there because it's giant.
Oh, you want big tracks?
There
you go.
Giant. Yeah.
I
can't wait.
I'm just jealous of you, man. I'm not like in a good way. Like, I just like people don't understand how good the tracks and racing is in Spain. That's like that's for me, that's almost like the mecca of RC in Europe, because it's good weather all year round. That's like the California. It's like good weather all year round.
Yeah.
The national level of RC is really good there as well. Not saying that it's not no good in the other countries. But I
Right.
mean, you got Kanash, you got Badier, and then you got a whole bunch of guys that are fast below them as well. So it's good stuff, man. I'm glad you done that, because it's a good thing. Now, Europe's got to be like a big culture shock for you, especially Spain. You know, you're coming from Atlanta. You're used to being there. You've been to California. You've been to Neo and England before, but I like that you took a walk on the Malacon, they call it, I guess. It's like by the water. That's what they call it. And you know, how is Spain, man? Like what was the biggest culture shock when you got to Spain?
The food.
Really?
Like, it's crazy because, like, every place has restaurants and stuff, and like fast food, and like you get here and it's just like, well, where's the KFC, or where's the Chick-fil-A, or where's the Zaxby's? It's all they have here is like McDonald's, and then all the rest of the restaurants and stuff are just like mom and pop places. I mean, I'm not taking away from them not being good. Like, it's just different, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not used to having to go eat at like mom and pop places, and the language. Like, we go to the grocery store and go buy groceries, and I'm like sitting here trying to think about what the hell this is saying on the package. I'm like, oh, what is this? Is this ham or turkey?
Yeah, hamon, turkey, pop, yeah.
But yeah, it's just different, you know. I've gotten used to it. It's, you know, you just got to get used to it.
Yeah,
that's all.
It's, you know, it's a big world out there, and I definitely believe that traveling is an education all in itself. So I'm kudos to you for having the balls to go out there and do that, man. You know, I wish more guys
honestly,
would do that.
Yeah, it's like I told David. I was like, man, I didn't think I would do it. Like, I really didn't, because, you know, I mean, typical American, you know, they like America.
Yeah.
They're not trying to go outside of the, you know, the boundaries of America. And same with me. Like, I didn't really think I would do it. Like, I've done it previously, but I never thought I would, like, come over here and stay for an extended amount of time.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
For the experience, you know. Not many people get to do it, so.
No, they don't. And do something you love. So that's even better.
Exactly.
So,
while I'm doing what I love. So.
Yeah. So I know we was talking earlier. You're going over to France. That's coming up soon. You and David, they have a HB race type of. I guess they have a HB race there. And when do you guys head out to that?
Yeah. So the HB race is pretty much just for anybody that races HB, really, that wants to come. And it's next week. We're gonna go practice probably Monday, Tuesday, and then get our stuff ready Wednesday, and we fly to Lyon on Thursday.
Okay.
And the weather is not looking too good, so hopefully our fingers are crossed for better weather. But as of right now, it's not looking good. Cold, rainy.
Yeah, unfortunately. But I mean, they still race kind of in that weather, so. But it's not fun.
Practice car.
Yeah, it's not fun. But France is nice. It's another great experience for you. And then you're off to Italy after that to do some reds testing, correct?
Yep. Right after France, I get back, and I'll be back in Spain for 2 or 3 days. And I actually fly to Italy on my birthday, April 12th. So I'll be out there for 3 days testing with the Reds guys, and it'll be good. I've been to Italy before, so it should be the same, I guess. Yeah. Me and Alex Pilson actually went I think it was 2015. I think we flew into like Milan and messed around in Milan for like half a day, and then we actually had to drive to Brescia, which is actually like halfway in between Milan and Venice.
Okay.
Hung out with the Reds guys, you know, saw the factory and kind of messed around there for a little while, and then we drove to Venice. So I've already went to Italy and saw Italy. It's pretty nice, but I can't wait to go back. It's been a while.
Of course. I've never been there. I'd like to go there, and Spain and France. I've only been to the UK. But two things I say you got to do while you're out there, and I told you this earlier. You're in Spain, go find a Dominican, Colombian, or like a Moroccan or Egyptian type of barber shop. Go get yourself a haircut there with a wet shave. I know it sounds crazy, but it's really good. Like if you go to like the Egyptian or Moroccan guys or Middle Eastern guys, like they just it's an experience.
I might have my head might be on damn fire after that, huh?
No, man, they give you they cut your hair, they give you a massage, all this type of stuff, man. It's good stuff, man.
Have you seen that though?
Yeah,
I guess the Middle Eastern people are like cutting hair with fires.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Hey,
That's what I'm scared of. I don't want to get my hair
oh
caught
no,
on fire.
dude, you gotta get where they take like a piece of string, right? And they take the string and they have it between their fingers and they're like plucking the hairs out of your beard and stuff like that on your face. You gotta do it. Like it sounds crazy, but like, hey, if women can go to salons and have like this day where they can get like a facial and all that stuff, then like when I'm telling you,
bro.
I'm telling you. Oh, am I?
You're getting too feminine on me, bro.
No, man, I'm telling you. When I was in Abu Dhabi and when I was in Doha working, that was my one little my Friday when I had off. I would go get a haircut, and it was great. Go do it. And the other thing you got to do while you're in Spain is try to go to a football game. You got to go to a football game because you're in Spain. Like you got Barcelona, Real Madrid, all these people there. Go to one of these games. I implore you to do that. So. Yeah. All right, so come back after Italy. Come back to Spain. How long are you going to be in Spain for?
I'll be in Spain after I get back from Italy. I'll be in Spain for another week, 2 weeks, and then we fly to the Philippines.
Oh yeah.
First and second round of RCGP.
That's going to be big. I know we talked about it on the other podcast. So, excuse me.
Yeah.
We won't touch on it too much here, but you're excited, aren't you?
I'm pumped.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Especially with all the new entrants that we have, like Angara, like it should be fun.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. I think it's a race now, and it's. I think the RC world's about to see something they haven't seen. I'm not even gonna go on about it anymore.
Yeah.
And
we'll just let them find out what they're missing.
Yeah, I think so. And Philippines, dude, you're gonna go there for a little while. Philippines is a country I haven't been to. It's nice over there. It's very similar to here, the Dominican Republic, but it's Asian mixed with Latin. So the exchange rate's I've never been there, but I've worked with Filipino guys and talking to Joseph. It's very similar to her.
One of my best friends is actually Filipino.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Me and him do like everything together. We go fishing and just go mess around. And his wife always cooks this really good Filipino meals. Oh man.
So he warned you about the red horse, right?
Yes, he said. Yes, actually, that's why when you mentioned it to me, I was like, "Oh, my buddy told me about that." He said that I couldn't drink more than 3.
Yeah, I don't think you can. Trust me.
Yeah. I can drink 2 or 3, but then we'll just have to stop.
Yeah, those things are strong, dude. They're strong. But Philippines is gonna be fun, and you gotta do what Joseph done it, so you gotta do it. He ate the balut, which is like which is the chick, like the stillborn chick in the egg. It's a delicacy.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, Joseph done it. Joseph done it. You gonna let Joseph punk you out like that?
Yeah. He's from Finland.
Yeah, they eat whale meat and all that stuff. Reindeer balls and all that.
Goat testicles and shit.
Reindeer balls. That's what they do. Yeah. I tease about it all the time. All right. So obviously you're enjoying Europe, and that's good. I know it's a mind-opening experience. That's always good for a young person. When I was your age, I was doing a lot of traveling. I'm still doing a lot of traveling, and I love to go to different countries. And a lot of and you're getting to do it via RC, and a lot of good things have happened in my life because of RC. So it's good stuff, man. So we're coming up here. We're closing up here. What's the future looking like for Cole Ogden? Give us what do you see happening for you?
Honestly, like, just do what I can while I can, like, until it's up, like, just ride it out, I guess.
Yeah.
But, I mean, back when I was in high school, I've always wanted to be an airline pilot.
Yeah.
Always wanted to be a pilot. And I actually had taken flight lessons before. Like, I punked out on getting my actual license, though, my actual private pilot's license, because I was young, man. I was, like, 15. And I was down in Lauderdale with my uncle, and I didn't have like my driver's license. I still had like my learners, and I took lessons with the instructor. I got like 10, 11 hours, all my cross country. We did all sorts of crazy maneuvers and stuff. And about the time the instructor got out of the plane and said, "Do 3 laps around the pad," and I was like, "No, sir, not happening."
Yeah.
I got pussed out.
Yeah.
I should have did it, but I was young, man. Like, and if you don't know, like Lauderdale is super, like their airspace is super, super busy.
Oh yeah, I could imagine that next to Miami and all that stuff.
Yeah. So talking on the mic to the air traffic controllers and shit, it's like so complicated, and I just didn't want anything to go wrong, so like I pussed out. But that was the plan, like back then. I mean, I can still pursue it. Like you're never too old to be a pilot.
No, you aren't, so, and you're still young.
And I have, like I have the connections. Like I can still go be a pilot, but like if the RCGP stuff takes off, then hey, I'm gonna do that as long as possible for sure.
That's my next question is how much you're still young. You're 25. You still got a lot of RC career left in you. So
24, 25 on April 12th.
Yeah.
Hey man, I got that extra week, bro.
Yeah, well, you're getting like, hey, in your 25th year, buddy. You're almost there. But you're still young. You got a lot of life left in you. You got a bunch of work. Like I know we talk about RCGP, but you got a lot of worlds left in you. Got a lot of nationals left in you. Got a lot of big races left in you, man. So you got time for sure.
Only scratched the surface.
Yeah, you have, and that's good stuff. And you now I know you're primarily an 8 scale driver. Are we going to see you doing any more 10 scale here in the next few years?
I mean, I've always wanted to. It's just one of those things where like 8 scale. I mean, 8 scale is a lot. Like I travel a lot for 8 scale. And I've always wanted to, like I have 2 10 scale four-wheel buggies at my house right now. I put one together and one's for parts, but I hadn't even touched it. I hadn't even gone and ran it because in Georgia, like we used to have a couple 10 scale tracks to race at, but now there's just really nowhere to race it.
Yeah, it seems big in Florida with the Super Cup and all that stuff going on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like maybe if I catch a break here soon, like maybe I will catch a couple of 10 scale races down in Florida, and I definitely want to. And that's what I had intentions on doing with my 10 scale stuff now. But yeah, I mean, I've always liked it. I've always liked 10 scale. I mean, it's fun. It definitely, I think it definitely helps your 8 scale driving for sure.
Yeah. But here on this podcast, you know what we say? Nitro is the glory and e-buggy pays the bills. So Nitro is always going to be the glory.
But you got to be good at e-buggy.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just going to, you know what? I'm going to retire. I just want to run 5th scale and do scale tail. That's all.
Rad. Let's go. Me and you.
I definitely want to get a 5th scale, one of the low C short courses. I think they're so badass. Those things are so fast.
I've never driven one. I've always wanted to drive one. And like when they first came out, they were just super slow, like turds.
No.
Now they have just freaking changed the game with all this new shit they have, the motors and clutches, and now they're just insane.
They're like 8 scales. They're just as fast as 8 scales.
They respond just as like 8 scales. Like that race, the Adelanto race.
Oh yeah,
out west.
Yeah,
dude. 5th scales on that shit, dude. It was so rad.
I know, it's so great. People think I'm stupid when I say this. I'm gonna get the guy Matt Olson or whatever his name is because I'm in love with 5th scale right now. I think it's awesome. So,
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Good stuff. So my last question to you before we go into some viewer questions would be, what advice would you give to these younger racers that are coming? There's a lot of young racers coming up. I know a lot of people trying to be pros. What advice can you give to them?
Yeah, there are. I mean, and I think one of the things that turns younger ones off is they don't think they're getting better. And just when you think you're not getting better, you really are. You just got to stick through it. Stick with it. Don't quit. Push hard. Work hard. And, hey, you'll make it.
You are actually a prime example of that. So,
yeah,
that's good stuff. That's good advice.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Well, it was good talking to you, but you ain't off the hook yet because we actually have a few viewer questions. And then we have to do the fastraceshop.com 10 question, 10 second segment. But I'm going to go through the viewer questions right now that they posted on our Facebook page. First one is from Alvin Crowder. I am shocked that Alvin Crowder even is on looking at my page because he's so busy with his nephew, who's a boxer right now. But Alvin Crowder is always full of jokes.
Sorry, we're watching MotoGP.
Oh, yeah, sorry. He says, Alvin Crowder actually has 2 questions. He says, ask Cole about 2017 Mugen Challenge when his pit guy was giving him 2-second pit stops over Drake's pit guy. I'm guessing Alvin was your pit guy?
Yeah, he was.
Okay.
And he did good. He actually did really good. He surprised me. I think that was like the first time I had ever had him pit for me, and I had some people like, dude, don't let Crowder pit for you. And I was just like, you know what? There's no one else. Like, and I sat him down, and I like every other pit guy that I get, I'm like, all right, we're sitting down. I run him through my little list. But yeah, I mean, he did good, man. He did. He
Good
did really
stuff. And he also asked, he says, and ask him also, why did Drake yell at him, Crowder and Placus at the hotel?
So we're up at the Big Apple Challenge, and we're staying at like the Roach Motel. You know, fucking doors are on the outside of the building, so you know it's ghetto. And Adam wasn't feeling good, and he went to bed early or something. And I think I had got Alvin to drink with me. We had just got back from like the bar, and we were just outside of our room. We had rooms right next to Adam. It was like Adam and I think Larone, and then it was like me and Alvin right next to him. And we were like outside the room being super loud, and Alvin ended up buying like a dozen of donuts, and they tasted like shit or something. And so he started throwing them. he started throwing them at like Adam's door, and it was making a lot of noise. He was throwing them at cars, and Adam like opens the door. You guys need to shut the F up. And we're just like, oh, okay. But he wasn't feeling good, so I mean, I could get where he was coming from. So.
Yeah, Alvin's funny, man. His nephew is badass in the boxing ring too. I know his
man. He's badass. No one wants to fight the guy. That's what
see that. That's crazy, isn't it? That you're bad when nobody wants to fight you.
Yeah,
so that's good stuff. Randy Romanek, he says, that's my dog. When you were in high school, did you used to say, I want to be a race car driver, a car driver?
No, actually, I didn't. I wanted to be an airline pilot, but it wasn't until after high school when like I told you earlier, the whole story, like it wasn't until after high school where I was like, you know what? Like, let's do this shit. Let's see how far I can get.
Okay. So, he says, Rich Nikom, I think, I'm butchering people's names. He says, have you tried the croquetes de jamón? It's like...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's the dried meat. Yeah, David tried to get me to do it or eat it, and I was kind of like, that's weird, but I ended up eating it on like the pizza. I didn't like the way it made my stomach feel, so I'm not about it.
Enrico Maloney, he's a big fan of the podcast. He says, what are the advantages and differences of the hot race rims? I guess he's talking about the carbon rims that you guys have. Yeah.
Preference, honestly, like the black wheel is carbon, like a HB car creates a lot of side grip, so I prefer to run a harder wheel just because the consistency it gives the car. I mean, just driver preference, really. Like the white and yellows are just a little bit flimsier, I guess you could say, and they generate more grip. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. And we'll go on another hot race question. Taylor Wanders. He says, what is your go-to hot race tread and compound?
Ooh, where are we racing at? That's my question.
I don't know.
If I'm on the East Coast, I love clay Saharas.
Okay.
Anywhere else, it's pretty much super soft or soft Amazonias. I love them.
Cool. Kevin Tomsovic. I know you've met Kevin. He goes to a lot of races. Yep. He goes, are those real glasses?
Yep, they're real. I'm blind as a bat. Has glasses since 4th grade.
No way.
I keep telling myself I need to get LASIK, but man, you only got one set of eyeballs, and I don't want to take a chance.
Yeah, it's cool. The glasses suit you. You're all right. Just keep wearing them. Tyson Welsh. Tyson Welsh is from Australia. He hit me up last night. He goes, how do you find living with David? Who makes the better pizza?
Pretty much just like living with my best friend, really. I mean, we're pretty much the same, but I do make the better pizza.
Good stuff. I mean, that was good that you guys posted that up.
For sure.
And that's all the questions that we have from the viewers. So now we're going to go into the fastraceshop.com 10 question, 10 second segment.
Now we go into the Fast Trace 10 questions in 10 seconds segment. Fast Trace is a world champion option parts brand made in Italy. Fast Trace drivers include Davide Ongaro and Riccardo Berton, and they run the innovative performance-enhancing parts that Fast Trace makes for most 1/8 buggies, including the world-famous honeycomb shock bladders and caps. Go to fasttraceshop.com and type in Lefty 2019 to get 10% off your purchase now.
Hey, so Cole, are you ready for the FastRaceShop.com 10 question, 10 second segment?
Hit me, baby.
All right. So, number one, who is your biggest rival in RC?
Oh, damn it. I don't know.
Come on, give me an answer. No pineapples allowed.
Testments.
Okay, cool. Number two, best track on the East Coast. You already answered that, but say it again.
S&B.
S&B.
Badlands.
There you go. You got two. Number three, what gets you fired up?
Getting docked a lap for my semi.
No.
No, roar. Let's just say that.
Okay, there we go. But it's all coinciding with that answer, so you're good.
Yeah, perfect.
Number four, who is the next up-and-coming fast East Coast racer?
Jackson Brunson.
Okay. Number six. Number five. See, JQ says my math's always messed up. Number five. Spain is?
Dialed.
Okay. Number six. What is the best barbecue in the South?
Shane's Rib Shack.
Change your check?
Shane's Rib Shack.
Oh, Shane's Rib Shack. Okay. Where's that to?
What do you mean?
Where is it? Is it like a chain or is it like
Yeah, it's a chain. Okay. There's I don't know how common they are like around states, but yeah, we have the original ones like 5 miles from my house.
Okay.
But we have a bunch. They're pretty common in Georgia.
Okay. So they're not really common in the Carolinas then. That's what you're trying to say.
Probably not.
Okay. Well, this is another food question. Sweet tea, non-sweet tea, or Coke soda?
Sweet tea.
There we go.
I'm from the South.
Yeah. And if you wasn't racing RC cars, what would you be racing?
Formula One.
Good. Yeah, that would be great. That would be awesome. Number 9, racing through pit lane is?
Slow.
Well, you did it pretty fast at Southern Nationals.
Yeah, I know, old man punting me out wide, man.
Yeah, he did.
And if you saw that pit lane, dude, that shit was so hard to even enter. Oh my god.
I don't know how you did it, honestly.
It was so hard.
I don't know how you did it. And number 10, NASCAR, Formula One, motocross. One of them's got to go. Which one gets the boot?
NASCAR.
What? You're going against your roots.
Yep.
Southern.
It's lame now.
Yeah, it is. It's not good. I can't even watch it anymore.
Nope.
Can't even watch it. Well, good stuff, man. Thank you for your time. I know you guys are busy. I appreciate you coming on. I know it was kind of short notice. Any shout outs you want to give out before we get off the air?
Shout out all my sponsors, you know.
Yeah.
If it weren't for them, I couldn't do what I love, and I greatly appreciate it.
I want you to shout out to one guy for me, my boy Quasi. Give him a shout out.
Quasi, what up, my dog?
He's coming to PMB. And
is he?
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't think he was going to.
Well, I have to check. I'll check the Bermudian guys, but I see his name is signed up. So
yeah, that's my dog.
Yeah, Quasi's got talent, man. It's just, in Bermuda we have one track and 15 guys racing. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's one of those things where he just has to keep coming over here. It's tough though. In Bermuda, I know.
But it's just Bermuda's expensive, and we make good money, but flying to America all the time is not cheap. So
yeah, I agree.
Well, cool, man. Like I said, thank you for your time. Tell David I said that Manchester City and Manchester's blue, and hopefully we'll see each other in the Philippines. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be there, but hey, it's gonna be awesome. And enjoy your time in Europe, dude.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
All right, thank you. And that concludes our main podcast for tonight. You had the Invisible Speed segment and the interview with Cole Ogden. Now we go into the JQ Racing Rant. Now, I'm going to put this disclaimer every week before the JQ Racing Rant. The JQ Racing Rant is sponsored by JQ Racing. We do what we want, so should you. So sometimes the language gets a little foul. We rant about stuff, but we try to offer solutions. But I understand that some children listen to this podcast. So if you have, if your children and you're listening to this podcast and you don't want them to hear the rant, that's fully understandable. Thank you for tuning into the podcast. We greatly appreciate it. If your podcast listening ends now. If not, enjoy the rant. Let us know who wins. And thank you for all the support. It's overwhelming, the support that we're getting for the podcast. And keep on listening and keep on liking and sharing. And just, without you guys, we cannot do it. So your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you all. And remember, Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills.
We are now at that point of the show where you should fasten those seatbelts and put your big boy pants on. Whoa. Things are about to get serious. It's time for the JQ Racing Rant.
So at that point of the show, the JQ Racing Rant, I got my good buddy Jeff Keaton here, and I got Joseph back on the line. What's up, Jeff? How are you?
I'm doing fan-freaking-tastic on this cold, wet, rainy freaking day today.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's really hot. It's been hot as hell here, man. Oof. I'm actually
How do you know you haven't left the house in like freaking 2 weeks?
I know. I told you that today. Joseph, I just realized today that I don't think I left the house, have left the house for like 5 to 6 days.
I've done that for 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, I literally I went to the bank with my wife and I was like, "Wow, this looks new." Like this they were building something when I remember leaving about a week ago, and then it's all filled in and they're getting they got a wall around it and a fence, and I was like, "Oh man, I haven't been out of the house for about 5 days. I've been so busy getting ready before I go to PMB. It's crazy. It's all your fault, Joseph." So,
you're welcome.
Yeah.
What the hell can you be doing that you're so busy?
Man, these podcasts...
It's not like you have a job.
Yeah, well...
Exactly. That's what I wonder also.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well,
I mean, the podcast thing takes like a half a day.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. It does not take half a day.
The things he needs to do that I ask him to do, I mean, I'm still waiting after a few months. So he's not doing those things. I know that. I don't really know what he's doing.
One thing, no matter what I do, it'll never be sufficient for you. So I ain't even worry about trying to please you at all.
No, I mean, it could be, but you just don't do it.
You know what it is?
One of these days we got to do a day in the life of Keenan the Lefty Great, and hour by hour of his life, because it's so entertaining that he can't leave the house for 5 days. Like, holy shit!
You get beers delivered.
Yeah, I do, but
I send your son.
I get them bought by a motor concho, but I honestly just got caught up doing the podcast, doing all this stuff. And I didn't leave.
I got an idea. We can talk that same dude that did that Drake Cribs video, and they could go do Keenan's house. The Cribs Keenan edition.
Well, it won't be that interesting, but we can do a walk around my neighborhood. I'm sure that will freak people out.
By the way, what's Mike Walker's PayPal? Because I owe them contingency money, and I blocked on Facebook, so I can't message him for it.
Yes, you can. You can hit him up on WhatsApp. You're just trying to make up an excuse for why you need Facebook. And it's been so peaceful this last 6 days without you on Facebook. Oh, it's been great.
I know, it's been fun. I've been spamming his wall with all kinds of stuff. It's been awesome.
Oh, yeah. Did you see the one that I posted? It's got like Stewie from Family Guy and it's like in the crib. And I was like, day 5 without Facebook. And he's being real productive. Like his Patreon's going, his Instagram's going. Hey, I love it. We got 25 more days of it. 25.
Anyway, what is it? I don't have his number.
I'll give it to you when we get off the phone off of there. When we finish this rant. So this week's rant is actually Jeff's idea, and we all feel this way about certain things. I feel, I agree with Jeff, but I also like something else, so this is a pretty good rant this week. So why don't we let Jeff bring it in, because you're not the rant king. Joseph won last week, so you're playing catch up this week, Jeff. So but you get to announce the rant.
Well, this week I'll clearly win, because because Joseph is just a moron and he has no clue about anything. So this week's rant is going to be based around race formats, not just it's going to be primarily based around the 8-scale race program, because that's, what we do, and that's what really matters. But my issue is overall mains, specifically mains. So everybody agrees we need less qualifying, more racing. And I'm 100% on board with this idea and this thought process. And, I have my own ideas on how to go about doing it. But my biggest complaint in 8-scale racing right this minute is the fact that we have these stupid long mains, especially on the club level. These club level guys are going to run a 30-minute main, and it's dumb. It prolongs the day. There's no racing in a 30-minute main. If you go to the regional level, we have 30-minute mains, sometimes 45-minute mains. There's no racing by the end of the race. You get at the Worlds, even if you take the Worlds, even with these hour-long mains, there's no racing. Like, the racing is dead. Everybody, when you look at, if you pull all the major races over the last year, it doesn't matter from the top, from the Mayfields of the elite drivers all the way down to the sportsman level drivers. There is such a big separation between first, second, third, fourth, all the way down fifth, sixth, seventh. Everybody, like, if you take the major races, the Worlds and stuff like that, there's like maybe 1 or 2 guys that are finishing on the same lap. If you come down to the regional level, there's maybe like 3 or 4 guys finishing on the same lap, but maybe, if you're really, really freaking lucky, 2 guys are going to actually be battling at the end. If you go down to the club level and a 30-minute main, there's like nobody on the same lap. The leader is freaking lapping the field 4 and 5 times. And there's usually laps separating each place. So first is going to have a lap on the field. Second's going to have a lap on third. There's just no racing in these 30-minute, 45-minute, hour-long mains. My thought process and my idea is we need to bring that back, these long mains, drop them down to like 15 minutes at max, so that you have at least one pit stop to keep the fun in with the pit stops and the strategy and that kind of thing. But we got to get better racing. We got to get the separation of drivers in all levels, sportsman, open, pro. The separation is too big. So like your Mayfields are dominating against your sub-level pro drivers, and there's no racing. If you go down to the next level, your Cole Ogdens are dominating over the next little tier of
Jeff
barely
Walker.
Guys that,
I mean,
yeah, I mean, no, I'm
Jeff Walker.
Jeff
What am
Keaton.
I?
I'm in the
Keaton, Mike
sportsman
Walker.
guys. I'm down in the sportsman guys. So like, I'd be like, I could be like leading the open class, and I might have like a half a lap on, 5th place in the open, whatever. It doesn't matter. But my point being is there's no racing. Like, it's not exciting. We need to bring back the excitement in the racing, and these long mains are freaking killing it. I can't stand it. I think it's stupid. My other side to that is we need to get away from, if we're going to have these 15-car mains or 16-car mains or even 12-car mains, right? We need to do less qualifying, completely less qualifying, less cars qualify into the main, and then we bump more cars from each main. So if we're going to have like a 15-car main, then I say we like qualify 6 cars or 7 cars in the main, and then you bump 5 or 6 cars. That way there's more main events and more people are bumping. So like me, I could be racing in whatever class, and I'll make the freaking G main, but I could bump 3, 4, 5, 6 times because I can finish 5th place in each one of those mains and keep bumping and make, my ego gets a little bigger. Like I feel more confident. Like I feel like I actually accomplished something going from the G main all the way up to the B main. And so, but you can't do that now because our days are running so long because we're running 3 freaking qualifiers and that last qualifier is freaking meaningless. Like it's just, we need to do 1, 2 qualifiers and then a shitload of mains and let people bump their way up through the ranks and actually feel like they accomplished something. And then have less times on the mains. So the main events are lower. So, shit happens faster. Better racing at the end. And look at e-buggy. 10-minute main. If you take the pro level guys, like eight cars are finishing on the lead lap. If you take the pro nitro buggy, like 2 cars are finishing on the lead lap. Why? Like, what fun is that?
Should we have multiple final mains? Like maybe 2 20 minutes or 3 15 minutes or 2 15 minutes?
I wouldn't have an issue with that. I did one race when Levi Jackson came out to the East Coast and he did that sick race. And we did the double A main, double 15-minute A mains. Like that shit was fun.
I thought it was triple.
A good time.
I think it was triple.
It could have been triple. I don't freaking remember. But it was fun though. Like it was different. And I can't remember. I'd have to go back to look to see how the racing ended up. Like, cause I suck. So I have no idea how I finished, but I know I didn't win. But yeah, I mean, even if we went back to a double or triple A main format, I would, again, it would have to be on time of days because, you run out of time, but especially on the local level. Like the local level, this freaking 30-minute mains on the local level is ridiculous. There is nobody finishing on the lead lap. It's just stupid. Like, why? We want to race. People need to race each other.
Okay, you're done. You're done with this rant. I'm disappointed. You're missing the point.
How am I missing the point?
Yeah, I think you're really missing the point. The problem isn't long mains. Now, if there aren't enough people finishing on the lead lap, that's just because they weren't closely matched drivers in skill level at the race. I remember when I started racing, it was such a special feeling to make the main and get to race 45 minutes. Like I really enjoyed the long mains.
Way back when, maybe, but you got to change with the freaking times.
No, I still think there's a place for long mains. It's special for nitro to have to race 30 minutes or 45 or 60. All 3 are long and all 3 are different. Like to race a 60-minute main, the last 15 minutes, it's crazy. Like the car is all like not really falling apart, but the performance is worse and the tires are wearing out. And I like it. I think there's a place for both. Just like
that's
no
why
in RCGP, yes, there is. In RCGP, we have Saturday we have 2 50-minute mains, and then Sunday a 60-minute main. So we have both worlds. So some drivers prefer the shorter mains, other drivers prefer the long ones.
See, but if you go back to the RCGP. Like the RCGP had a great idea with this format, and then you threw that stupid ass 60-minute main in. Like why?
Yeah, because drivers want it.
60-minute main.
So, for example, Neo Buggy Race in Spain. Robert was catching Ongaro throughout the race, and then they raced the last few minutes, and it came down to the last lap. So it does happen. When you get the best drivers together, those close, long mains do happen.
Okay, with 2 drivers. But why not?
So what?
Wouldn't it be just way more exciting if you had 5 drivers in the mix?
Yeah, but that's unrealistic. Drivers always separate themselves, no matter what length the race is. If you look at electric racing, even just 10 scale mains, you never see 5 drivers going for the win, even if they're 5-minute races. There's always one guy separates, or it's two guys maybe, or maximum 3.
If you look at the Reedy race, there's always at least 3 guys, and one wreck can change freaking everything. So
Reedy is a bit different because they don't start in like qualifying order. Like slow guys start out front, fast guys start at the back. So that's different.
Well, I mean, even if you take just a regular AAA main 10 scale race,
and normally there's no big battle at the front with multiple cars.
They're, whatever. You're not paying attention. I just watched the J Concepts, the indoor turf race, and every single main event there was 3 cars battling for the win, and they were all separated by less than a second. So that's bullshit. But again, I still like the pit stops. Like, I want pit stops. I like pit stops. It's part of the strategy. It's part of the fun. So I don't want to get to where you're eliminating the pit stops. But it's freaking boring as hell to sit and watch cars being lapped. And that's what's happened. Even if you look at the Worlds, this last Worlds. 2 cars were on the lead lap. Everybody else was lap traffic. Like, how is that? And that's the elite. That's the best of the best of the best. And 2 cars can finish on the lead lap. Like,
I don't know why that's a problem. Why is that a problem? So what?
It's fucking boring. I don't remember what we were talking about.
Yeah, well, no, we are talking about the long mains, man. To counter that though, the race that before that was at Montpellier, which was a great race last year as well. The Montpellier race is before DNC, and I believe it's an hour long as well. And that race was exciting from start to finish. Yes, Ongaro kind of ran away with it at the beginning, but then he broke, like, his battery died, and then Boots and then Battier flamed out after his pit in the last pit, and then Boots and Berton and Canas battled to the end, like after 60 minutes. So I enjoy 60 minutes. I also enjoy the short sprints as well.
Yeah, like DNC a couple of years ago, it came down to the last corner after 45 minutes with David and Robert. And like I said, Neo with Ongaro and Robert. So there's many long races that are exciting down to the last lap. And as a driver, I always like the long races. You have to focus for so long. It's challenging. It's just different to racing a short main. And it's also special to make the main because you get to race for so long. All the lower mains are shorter, and then if you want to do the long main, you have to make the main. And I always liked that as a driver. It was like a extra bonus to get to race the long main. But I said before that I felt like you were missing the point. And I think the problem isn't the length of the mains. The problem is the amount of different mains. So all the different classes, all having long mains, and you're just stuck sitting there waiting to race. And then just too many entries at the races. Too many entries, too many classes. One individual driver doesn't get to race enough during the day, and that's why you feel frustrated with all the long mains. If it was just, qualifying shorter mains and then at the end of the day one long main, I don't think it would be such a big deal.
Well, yeah, but that's not my point. My point isn't the length of time throughout the day. It's the racing itself being boring at the end of a race. Like, I mean, we're getting ready for PMB. PMB is this weekend, and they'll have, I believe they run their nitro buggy, their pro nitro buggy thing, I think is 45 minutes. If not, it's going to be 30.
30. Yeah.
Is it 30?
Yeah.
It could be 30. So at the end of that 30-minute race, out of the pro guys that's there, you're probably going to have 3. You'll have Tebow, Bornhorst, and Lutz on the lead lap. Everybody else is going to be lap traffic.
Well, that's also because those are the only, and I believe Drake's in, so those are the only 4 real pros that are
like
going.
I said, there's only 3 that's going to be on the lead lap.
Okay. Oh gosh. I don't know. I'm not gonna. No comment. Drake. hey, Drake's still fast. Remember?
No, Drake is doing good. I like giving him shit, but
hey,
no, he is. I mean, he's holding his own.
I mean, look. Remember Southern Nats when somebody who were named nameless kind of freaked out and picked the wrong tires? Not saying their names.
Yeah.
I don't know.
By the way, did you see that race sold out like faster than the Nationals?
Oh yeah, it's insane because they cap it.
Yeah.
What, the Southern Nats?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They cap it because they have
It
to
sold
cap
out
it.
in 3 hours.
It's a great race.
Wow.
Dude. It's a good race. I mean, it's so good. Joseph wants to go back this year. So should be good. I don't know. I kind of like the sprints too. I understand what you're saying, Jeff. It's like too many. I don't know. I like the idea of more cars bumping up as well, and you get more racing that way too. But Joseph brings up good points about the classes, but that's never going to stop, Joseph. The classes are hurt.
Why would it never
Because
stop?
because you know why? Because there's just people.
It didn't always used to be that way.
Yeah, but it's not going back to what it used to be.
Yeah, but it's the same thing with the sponsorship things. You're never going to get rid of the sponsorship things now, and it's the way how those race structures gone. Entries are dictating everything. People, the racers themselves, like us racers, we're our own freaking worst enemies. Like, we are the stupidest people on the planet. Hands down, the dumbest people that have ever walked the face of this earth is RC car drivers. And now it's to the point where, because me, I've been racing a long ass time, and I got decent sponsors. I don't have a chassis one yet because, I'm just not that good. But apparently, I can race the open class and I can make the main, pretty consistently in the open class. If I run the pro class, I'm going to be a B mainer, right, on the regional level. So I don't race the pro class because I don't want to be a B mainer. Like, why am I going to go spend $1,000 to go to this race to go race in the B main? Like, it's pointless for me. So I'm going to go race in the open class. So at least I have the potential of winning something. Again, not the smartest freaking person in the world, apparently, because I'm going to spend $1,000 to go to this race to win a fucking plastic, cut out something. But I have a big ego. Like, I like my ego. It's kind of like my body. It's huge. It's bold. It's right there. It's in your face. Like, my titties will smack you before my ego does, but it's still there. And so my point being is I'm going to race in these lower classes because I want the chance to win. And that's how the racing society is now. We went from 3-person podiums to 5-person podiums now.
Yeah.
So, it's just everybody wants a trophy.
Nation. It's so stupid. Someone just needs to change that. That's it.
It's not
as simple as that.
But it's
not. The problem isn't the long main. So two drivers on the lead lap. That's not the problem. The problem is that everyone has a long main. And everyone's a champion. Jeff Keaton deserves a 45-minute main. No, he doesn't.
I don't want a
20-minute lower main, and then at the end of the day, there's one long main.
I think
the problem isn't the long main. It's that there are too many of them.
I think you're missing Jeff's point altogether. He's talking about short main.
No, if he wants to race short mains, then race electric.
I can't stand electric, but I do like their, again, concentration level, right? So, like, again, not the smartest people in the world, so my concentration level sucks at, past 3 minutes. So if I can run a 5-minute qualifier, I'm freaking stoked because I went 2 minutes past my prime of 3. So, it's a good thing. But my point is we need better racing at the end. Like, as a spectator, I want to go watch this race, and I want to watch cars battling for the win, not 2 people. Like, it's just, to me, it's getting boring. Like, that's why we don't ever have any spectators. Like, who wants to watch 2 cars maybe battle at the end? I mean, it's exciting. Don't get me wrong. The 2 cars battle is exciting, but I think it would be better if there was 4 cars or 5 cars in that mix. One mistake and the dude from first can drop all the way out of the podium. Like, one mistake now, the dude's just going to lose first place and he'll still finish a lap ahead of third. Like, who cares? Make that mistake and then drop off the podium. Now you've lost something.
You know why? And I'm going to go back to my point with that is that we have so many different levels of people racing in one main. So you have for instance, we'll have P&B.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Right, because we don't have the professional guys racing each other more often. That's why. If they race,
my God! Now we're back to
everyone's
RCGP.
No, but listen, I'm not even going to say nothing about that. But
it's
listen,
because everyone's in their own class. That's why.
What? What are you talking about?
Everyone's in their own class. That's why you don't have the similar level drivers. Enough similar level drivers racing together.
No, but I'm taking, like, let's take PMB for an instance. You're gonna have those 4 guys who are more than likely gonna be a lap or 2 ahead of the guy in 5th. I'm not saying nothing against the guy
easily.
in 5th, but the levels of the level of driver is big from Lutz, Drake, and
That's
and
right.
Bornhorst.
The drop off is ridiculous.
Yeah.
To go from the elite to the next round. I mean, to all the way down to the sportsman guys. The drop offs are so freaking big. Even in the open class, if you look at the open class, you know, you'll have more people finished on the lead lap. You'll probably have 3 or 4 in the open class finish on the lead lap, but everybody else is going to be lap traffic. And if you take the sportsman guy, there'll probably be like 2 or 3 cars on the lead lap and everybody else is lap traffic. So, I mean, you get it at all the skill levels. It's just, to me, it just seems like, you know, it seems it's boring to watch. And, you know, I'm getting to the point where I'm going to be watching a lot more racing than I'm actually going to be racing in. And so I want to enjoy that more by watching racing, not people lap people.
So you get that, Joseph? It's not a. You two are actually ranting about 2 different things.
Yeah, but I don't know. Are you like? What are you? Are you trying? Are you a socialist when it comes to racing? you think everyone's? Well, actually, you're worse. Like you're a communist when it comes to racing.
I'm a communist now.
Yeah, everyone should.
Do I hate
be the
Americans
same.
too? I
Everyone
fucking hate
should be the
Americans,
same.
right?
Yeah, you hate America when it comes to racing. Everyone should be the same and get the same.
It's not the same. No, I'm not saying.
Yeah, it's never going to be that way. Just
Why
because
not?
you make the race 15 minutes instead of 45 doesn't mean that the racing will be better.
It's going to take less
the difference
time.
will still be the same. If you have a 5-minute qualifier, the fast guys are still going to be 10 seconds ahead.
Okay,
right?
but in a 5-minute
it's not a
qualifier, they're
question
not
of
lapping the field.
So what? So it's somehow it's better racing if it's just a 25-second gap.
Well, yeah, because if you take especially in qualifying a 5-minute race, right? One mistake takes you from TQ to 10th place. From one mistake, that's exciting. Like
maybe we should just race 3-lap races, and then it would be exciting.
Well, I would do better, but no, that's not where. See, now you're being ridiculous and fucking saying that shit. I'm not saying get rid of pit stops and get rid of, long mains. I'm saying get rid of hour-long mains and 45-minute mains. 30-minute mains are good on the regional level. Like, I'm good with a 30-minute main, but on a club level, a 30-minute main, why? What the fuck is a point of a 30-minute main on the club level?
The point could be to prepare for the big races where you do get to race a long main like that. Well, just some like club night. Yeah, it's kind of dumb to do that. Just, run a shorter program. But, regional races like the one we did in Florida, yeah, sure, have a long main.
Yeah.
That's stupid. It's stupid. Like you're not even reasonable. Like you're worse than a woman.
Welcome to my world.
I really feel like your real problem isn't the length of the main; it's the length of the day and having to sit watching all these long mains. If there was only one long main and it felt special to make that main, then it would be different.
No. Well, I mean, so if you take are you saying if you take the Roar Nats or the Euros where you qualify in and all that shit, where it's one class, just one class, and I mean, in that sense, yeah. I mean, there's a benefit to making that long main, but that's still not my point. My point is, even when you make that main, sure, there's for your own as a driver, there's this own little oh, this is cool. I made this main. I get to go run 45 minutes now. I got to prepare my car. However, I'm going to get lapped 6 times in that main. So, yay me. I'm really fucking somebody. You have no shot at winning because you're going to get lapped 6 times in that main.
Yeah, but I don't quite understand what the problem is with that, with getting lapped. That just shows that the difference in driver skill level is big at that particular event. So there's maybe one really good driver there or whatever. I don't understand why that's a problem.
Because
longer or shorter main won't change that.
We're not that good of people. you have 2 or 3 guys that are way above everybody else at every single race you go to. And so there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not knocking the 2 or 3 guys that are way above everybody else, but the separation between the 2 guys even if you take battles. So if first and second, we'll play it this way. First and second is battling for the win, right? They're going to have a lap on third place, but third place and fourth place very rarely are going to be on the same lap. So third place guy, no matter what, is going to finish in third. First and second are just dictating which position they are in. And then fourth, fifth, and sixth might be fighting for something, but nobody cares about fourth, fifth, and sixth. Like, those are meaningless positions. So as a spectator, as I'm watching this race, I get to watch the first 2 guys, and they're going to be battling it out. Maybe, if you're lucky, really, really lucky, that'll happen. Most of the time it's not, because the leader of the race has already lapped the field once. But as a spectator, like, watching those 2 guys, sure, it's kind of cool and it's fun, but it's not, it gets boring, like, especially when it's the same 2 people. Like, there's just we're not good enough as drivers to be able to compete, I guess, is my problem. So if you have a shorter main, then it brings the really, really fast guys down a notch, to where at least if they do actually screw up and they have a mistake, then it's going to drop them more than just one place. Like, they could drop down to third, fourth, or fifth, and then they got to work their way back up. And then that's when their skill set really kicks in. So, like, if you take Mayfield, he's out leading a race. He has one brain fart and donkey flips off the track and drops from first to fourth. You're going to see Mayfield kick it into gear and really fucking show his talent to be able to get back up into that lead, which he has done many times. I want to see that more. Like, that's what I want to see. But no, in the current situation we are in now, Mayfield's going to donkey flip off the track, lose a couple seconds, maybe drop down to second, but then fight his way back up to first, and that's boring. Let's go from drop down to 5th place and work your way up. That's exciting. That's something new. That's different. That's what
Well, you know what? There's a solution for this.
Yeah, shorter mains.
Yeah, RCGP. Saturday, 2
Oh
short
my God,
mains,
here we go.
Sunday,
Fucking
a long main. I mean,
RCGP.
I'm sorry to have the solution for you, but just
you
the way
don't,
it
though,
is.
because you still got a 60-minute main.
Yeah, well, just watch the race on Saturday then.
Lose the 60-minute main, and
Don't watch on Sunday. Only watch Saturday and be happy. And
How
Sunday,
many qualifiers do you have in RCGP?
3, but they're heads-up racing.
Well, at least that's somewhat exciting.
What do you think about heads up?
That's even more exciting. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Heads
that's
up
what you
racing,
want,
like
Jeff.
6-7 minute main.
There you go.
So you're doing 3 7-minute heads-up racing qualifiers.
Yeah.
How are you picking the starting orders?
The first round is based on your seeding. So seeding practice, 3 best laps, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So you know how that works. So
Right.
that's how you start for the first round. Second round, the grid is inverted. So whoever won will start last. Whoever was last will start first. So then the second round will be exciting. The faster guys will be starting at the back.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And then you do the same thing for the third round.
All right.
So those races, especially the second 2, should be really good.
I agree, because you're right, 100% right. Why is that? Because they're 7 minutes. They're shorter. They're longer than a normal qualifier is now, but shorter than some bullshit main. They can all go 7 minutes, and it gives the fast guys that extra 2 minutes to get from the back to the front. And 99% of the time, they're going to do it, right?
Yes, but when they do it, that's going to make for good action.
No, the qualifiers are going to be better than the mains. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch, yeah. But that's not what 8-scale Nitro Racing is. 8-scale Nitro Racing, for the main, to win the actual grand prize, you have to have pit stops, you have strategy, you have to go the distance.
You have to have luck.
You have to do that, you have to have a long race.
a 60-minute main
No,
is
you
about
just-
luck.
No, it's not just about luck. You also need to have. You just basically need to have no bad luck. Okay, and good preparation.
You gotta have a lot of luck.
No.
Why do you
just need-
think no one has gone back to back in 8-scale world for a world title? Because nobody's that fucking lucky.
Because Hara got nervous. Hara got nervous in Thailand.
Degani won a fucking world. That's luck. Like, that's as
No,
lucky
it's
as
not.
you can get.
No, it's not. Degani was really good back in the day.
Fucking
Seriously.
Cody King won a world. That's as lucky as you can fucking get.
He's a good driver. And he had the best car at the time.
Yeah, Cody King was on form. What happened with Hara, Joseph? You mentioned Hara. Hara got nervous.
Yeah, he should have won Thailand.
Why? What happened? I don't remember that.
He was faster than Cody, and he just blew out. If he had just stayed on track, he would have won.
Hara's I think off subject, but Hara's a very underrated racer. I think he should go on as
He wasn't underrated when he was fast.
No, he wasn't. But now he's just like
He was probably the highest paid guy.
really.
The worst. Answer me this. Seems like we're a little off topic. The worst decision ever made in RC was Hara leaving HB.
Actually,
True or
there are
false?
two. There are two guys in RC who I feel have made like the world's dumbest choices. Okay, Hara is obviously one. Can you guess
He's
the
number
other?
one.
Yeah, there's one other. Actually, okay, this one is kind of tough. I would say Yannick Aigon. But then as I was about to say it, I thought about Savoya too.
Yeah.
But I would say Yannick because he was still. I don't know how the hell do you go from almost winning worlds and Euros and all that, and then I guess it was kind of business decisions because he was thinking about his life after racing, but it just didn't turn out very well for him. Like he went low C and then Associated, now X-Ray, and like all over the shop, and it's a mess. Like he's selling one company's tires and using another company's tires, and it's like, what are you doing?
Does he still race?
It's just weird. Yeah, he still races, but
Yeah.
it's just a huge mess. Like he races for some companies, works for a third company, and sells a fourth company's products. It's like it's so confusing that I got confused with the numbers there. That's how confusing it is.
Yeah.
So I feel like those two guys, like, if they had just made better decisions, I think their whole situation would be different now.
Yeah, I agree.
But I guess
Especially Hara.
Hara takes the cake. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Definitely. That guy went from the pinnacle, the best of the best, could win any race he shows up to like nothing.
Yeah,
And
but
it didn't affect
he doubled
just
up.
his 8-scale. It affected all of his racing. 10-scale, touring, every fucking thing he races went to shit.
Yeah, but do you know how he even doubled up on that? So let's say the first mistake was to leave HB and then to go with the wrong company. Okay, he went with S-Works and everything went to shit. Then he doubles up on it. So Infinity shows up, Japanese guy doing this whole Infinity project in on-road. And somehow magically Hara isn't a part of that. Like, how was that messed up? Like, I wish I knew, like, behind the scenes what's going on, but that makes absolutely zero sense. Like, anyone should have been able to see that. Okay, Hara, you're at the end of your career. All the drivers almost at Infinity are the same, like former world champions. Like, it's a perfect fit. You get paid a huge salary, easy life, do some on-road racing, testing at RC Addict in Thailand. What's the problem? Like, why did that not happen? That's just amazing to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think this ends our rant for tonight. It's a short one. I want to know what the viewers think. Do you think Jeff's right? Do you think Joseph's right? Or is it a combination of both? So you're going to let us know after we post this up this Wednesday. So let us know who
Basically,
won.
I win because I solved Jeff's problem.
Yeah, real
You
cabeça
didn't
dura.
solve shit.
Yeah, I did.
You
Just watch
created
Saturday.
another problem.
No, just watch Saturday, and you get to watch 3 short mains for qualifying, and then 2 slightly longer 15-minute mains for the overall win. I mean, that's perfect. Saturday, you'll be so hyped up from the racing on Saturday that you'll go to the track on Sunday. You won't be watching. Like, you'll be racing yourself. And then you can argue with the local race director about the length of the main.
No, I thought I was going to argue with the race director because he's got too many entries.
Yeah, that too. Too many classes, too many entries. I think we should rant about the classes and entries every single rant.
No.
Just bring it up. Like, if we bring it up enough, then maybe things will change.
No, it's not changing.
The classes are never going to change, and the entry count's never going to change.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, dude, because
the only reason people enjoy that is because they don't know any better.
Yeah, but it's these races aren't cheap to put on either. You know?
Like, if you lived in a world where every morning you get punched in the face 3 times, right? Every single person.
Well, you would know that because you get punched in the face 3 times every morning. So
every single person every morning gets punched in the face 3 times, right? It's just like, oh fuck, I woke up. And then you get punched 3 times in the face. And it's just this thing that always happens, and it's always been that way. Then imagine someone is like, you know what? You're idiots. You get punched in the face 3 times. I only get punched in the face 1 time. And he's like super happy about that. Like, he only gets punched in the face 1 time.
Oh.
And he thinks it's so awesome.
This is the worst metaphor
ever. He doesn't know any better.
This is what happens.
Can you shut up? He doesn't know any better. He thinks getting punched in the face 1 time is a good thing. Because he can't even fucking imagine that there could be a world where you don't get punched in the face.
You shut up for a fucking minute. Let me ask you a question. Are you the guy getting punched, or are you the guy being punched?
Everyone's getting punched.
So who punched the guy that just punched you?
Oh,
it's God. It's like the hand of God comes down and punches you in the face.
Oh, no.
Like, it just appears. This fist appears and it punches.
Oh,
okay.
I thought it was the cop from Ohio that was gonna come around and beat your ass because he can.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Every time I see something really sick online, it's Ohio. Like, I just wonder what kind of people live in Ohio. Other than Bornhorst and Lutz, aren't they from there? But anyway, do you get my point? Like, if you live in this world where everyone gets punched in the face 3 times when they wake up, and someone only gets punched once, he thinks like, hey, this is awesome. Look at this. Because he doesn't know any better. He doesn't know that you could maybe not get punched at all. So all these Americans going to these races, sitting around for like 16 hours a day and running for 4.5 minutes, they think like, this is awesome. RC racing's awesome, you know? Because I race 7 classes, pay $600, and I get like 7 times 4 minutes. Like, oh, that's awesome. Because they don't know any better. They've never been to fucking bit design contest, which you race from like 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and you fucking massive amount of track time and beers and fun in the sun. They just don't know.
Beers?
Yeah.
You're a real cacafuego, man. Stop your noise.
I'm just saying, if these, especially all these people from Ohio, if they went to some good race, they would understand.
They're going to sales in Ohio.
But that
would be like the equivalent of them not getting punched in the face, and they would be like, this is amazing. I thought getting punched in the face just 1 time was good, but this is just amazing.
But see, what you fail to understand is just because you think that it's amazing to be done by 6 o'clock and have a beer in your hand, that's your opinion of what is amazing.
Listen, you are talking about this as someone who's been punched in your face all your life. You can't imagine how it would be not to be punched in your face.
I have, because I've been to those. I've been there. I've raced those.
No, races. You haven't. You don't even have a passport. So you're punched in the. You are one of those guys that's only punched in the face 1 time, and you are telling me that, hey, it's actually better to be punched in the face 1 time than not at all. You don't know what you're talking about. Then I ask you, have you ever woken up in the morning and not been punched in the face? And you go, no.
And
but I used to be punched 3 times, and now only 1 time.
Okay. I want to punch you in the face now. I get it. Okay? E-buggy.
Yeah.
Stop. Jesus.
Stupid e-buggies.
Hey,
Jesus. And we need to get Jeff to a proper race, and then he can do a good
I've
race
been
report
to a
from
proper race.
Okay,
Jeff's been.
I've
Go ahead,
I've
Jeff.
been to the. I went to the Worlds in Sweden.
That's the Worlds. Worlds is different. Worlds is
How is
stupid also. You just drive twice a day. It's so dumb.
But you're done by 6 o'clock.
Yeah, so what? But it's still dumb.
You know what? A good example.
The Roar Nats. You're done by 6 o'clock.
That's not a proper race either.
Oh my God. What is only proper races are in fucking Europe?
No,
That's
there are
the
some
only
proper races
place?
in Asia also.
So you're
This
just
is a proper
unreasonable.
race. There's like one, maximum 2 classes.
Your
right?
opinion
Entries-
of what a proper race is.
No, like anyone would fucking enjoy it more. There's 1, maybe 2 classes. About like 150 to 200 entries or so. Let's
Like
say.
Neo used to
Everyone
be.
Gets to drive like 6 times a day.
Like Neo used to be. Neo, you got on the track. You got 5 qualifiers. You did. I think each one of your mains for 20 minutes. You got 5 or 6 practice sessions.
But what do I need 5 qualifiers for? Like, what the fuck is
Track
the point
time,
of that?
racing.
I can go to PNB. I can practice for 24 hours if I want
Practice. You
to.
can practice at home. Why do you want to go to P&B and practice? Just stay at home and practice. Practice doesn't count.
Well, neither does 5 rounds of qualifying. Like,
Qualifying
what's the point in
counts.
that?
That's racing. Practice doesn't count.
5 rounds of qualifying, like the same people are qualifying in the same spots. Nothing's changing.
I know, but at least you get to drive against the clock.
I could do that Friday at PNB. I can drive
Yeah, not
for
racing
24
each other,
hours.
not qualifying. Not qualifying, though.
Well, who cares? Like, it's still driving.
Why?
Like,
You're so stupid.
You know what? This rant is a draw. Because if you talk about getting punched in the face some more, I'm going to punch you in the face.
I definitely won this rant.
No, you didn't. You know what? The listeners will determine who won
and
this
they'll
rant.
side with me because I had a better rant.
They haven't sided with you.
You lost the viewers.
Jeff's problem.
You lost the viewers when you said that all the best racing is in Europe. So you lost.
No, I
it.
said
You're
there's
done.
also racing in Asia. That's good.
Oh.
I think the main problem is that these races cost so much money. I mean, especially these indoor races, it isn't cheap to rent these arenas, so they have to have entries in order to make up for it. It doesn't take away that it's not a good race. PNB is still going to be a good race. It's going to be long, but it's going to be a good race.
And I'm still going to get
those
my beer at
races-
the end of the day.
Sure,
I'll
those
still be
races
driving,
can be
but I'm
around,
gonna
but
have
there
my
should
beer.
there should be other races that are different. They don't all
I
have
agree.
to be the same.
I
They don't
agree.
all have to be the same. Like, hey, let's just try and max out entries and invent some classes. Okay, have those races. Also have some different races.
Yeah.
We do the Southern Nats, which just sold out in like freaking
but
10 minutes.
It's still
The Roar Nats.
Well, it's still the same style of race.
Oh my god!
You still have to race multiple classes, and you still have
And
to
they
sit
all
around
still
forever.
have too long of fucking mains. Like they need to all shorten up their mains. It would be good.
all right.
Yeah,
All right.
shorten everything except the pro class.
Okay. You two have had enough now. No more. This is a stalemate.
Okay.
We're gonna find
How
out.
about AAA mains? We could do AAA.
Okay, we're
mains.
done. I'm all out of words. I'm done.
Hey,
Have fun getting punched in the face tomorrow morning.
Jeff, thank you for coming on. Joseph, thank you for coming on. And to all our listeners, thank you for your support. And let us know which rant won. Was it Jeff or Joseph, or were they both equally boring? And also remember, there is a giveaway attached to this podcast. I called Joseph a name in this podcast, and you got to let me know what it means. First person to do that in the definition in the comments of this podcast on the Facebook page will win one of the No Name RC podcast car stands that Josh
By the
Bayham
way,
has done.
this wasn't your idea, was it?
What?
This, like, I called JQ a name in this podcast, find the name, and you win something.
Of course, it's
There's
my
no
idea.
way. There's no way this was
You
your
know what?
idea.
You know what? Joseph, please be quiet.
Whose idea was be
It was
honest, whose idea
mine.
was this?
It was mine.
Really?
Of course, it was mine.
Man, this is a great idea.
Well,
this is your first great idea.
Oh, Jeff? Can you record that, please? He gave me another compliment. That's
Yeah. It's a good idea. When I first heard it last podcast, I'm like, wow, that's a good idea. Because then people actually have to listen.
Yeah.
And then you're calling me some name, and I can kind of think about it too.
And
Fun.
And they have to know they have to give me the definition so they learn something at the same time. But anyway, this has been going on for too long. Anyway, 48 minutes in. Thank you all for supporting. If you wish to support us even more, you can go to patreon.com/thequagrain. Every little bit helps. And stay tuned. We're going to be at PMB. We're going to try and drop some walk-arounds and some podcasts and some Facebook Lives from PMB, Rocket Car especially. And I'll talk to you guys later. Joseph, I'll talk to you later. Jeff, I'll see you on Thursday.
Sounds good.
And remember, nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. And if you aren't having fun, it don't make sense doing it. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to the No Name RC podcast. Please tune in next time for more fresh RC content. And if you can, please also support us on patreon.com/thequagrain. We will greatly appreciate it. And don't forget, nitro is the glory.